And that is an excellent mark from Charlie West there against a veteran defender, and a good finish too.
It's just a build-up of pressure, really. I mean, 24 inside 50s already to 13. Playing with an harassment that they can't handle.
Biggest lead of the match for the Pies. Have kicked the last three. Ward brought down. Impey off half-back. McKenzie hassled away from it from Pendlebury. Comes again. Does McKenzie.
Just doesn't do the easy thing sometimes. Ken McKenzie just tries to do too much with the ball.
And Dacos can do it all with the ball. Gives it to DeGoey. Collingwood building, looking for 4 in a row. Well, Day got in front of Chol. Not happening at the moment for the Hawks. Dumped out straight to Swadling. Exciting young player. Punches one. Ward got a fist. Cleared it out toward the pocket. Morrison, McCreary, McDonald. Lewis and Frampton with the spoil. Chris takes on Ginnivan. Stays up in the tackle. Needs to release. Good tackle by Ginnivan. Held an arm. McKenzie takes the advantage. Now the Hawks through Ward. Give it to Morrison. He's got runners ahead of the footy. Shapes to look to Ward. It's not going to be the required distance. Gee, and only just. So a bit of a let-off now for Ward. Newcomb comes on the ground. Mitch Lewis is calling for it deep. Watson's on the far side. A bit of space. Kick favours McStay, and Collingwood made an easy advantage of that.
He played on in a bit of a rush, but it pans out okay. Good support behind Howes. And these inexperienced Pies back there with so many result defenders out of the team tonight. It was a good one from Swadling, and it gives Josh Dacos some choices. He uses Frampton. You know he's going to run and want it back, but you know it now passes. So they've been held up a little by the Hawks this time.
They could probably switch again if they desire. Hawthorn have guarded down the line really well.
Dacos' kick couldn't be much wider than that, but Crisp is up early. Nothing they could do to stop him pulling another mark down. Membry had a quick offering, trying to lead up to the footy. He's back there again. As the focus of the kick. He's got to deal with his former St Kilda teammate in battle, but Pendlebury's hands were swift. Swadling had a quick glance. Harrison in the pocket. There's time, there's space. He pulls it back towards West again. He wasn't far off the mark. Bailey McDonald turns it Hawthorn's way. Ginnivan had to stand his ground, and that's what he did. That allows Chol to win, and Jack's got to go off to the races. Not for the first time we've said that. The ball goes forward. Frampton is there at half-back.
Grand final lead though, Anthony Frampton. Hawthorn had nothing forward of the footy on the quick break.
Well, they're holding one back, Collingwood. They're holding one because they know they're going to come with speed.
Pretty scrappy entry into the middle of the ground. Now they've got men out. They've got Gunston steaming inside if they can get it to him. He's got room. Impey doesn't need the option. Impey did need the option.
So Frampton's holding and he's waiting for that wave to come running at him. So defensive tactic employed by Craig McRae saves them on that occasion.
It works so well with the pressure that's been able to be inflicted up the ground from a Collingwood point of view too, to allow that spare there.
Still with 3 of the 4 goals for the term. High ball, West, slight misjudgment. Gets out the back, Weddle. Strides away. Ambitious kick into the middle for Battle. He was able to give Schultz the look. That was all he needed. McCreary, we know he can. It's a question of whether he will or not. And it's a resounding yes. The questions are being asked and answered to the Pies. And now Hawthorn have a few posed at them.
Well, Jarman Impey goes through the 50 at one end and has handballs, has the ability to run it in nearly to the goal line and do a great team goal there. And you flip it around to the other side. And as Beau McCreary and his pressure from the Collingwood Football Club there, the turnover happens. He has a look. He's trying to find Tim Membry there. No other option. So it is his turn to kick the goal. And he does exactly that. Just the difference in attitude going through the forward 50.
That kick there is a result of the pressure that Collingwood are putting Hawthorn under. They're now trying to manufacture things that are not there. They've been taken out of their comfort zone. They need realignment, there's no doubt. Half-time cannot come quickly enough for the Hawks.
Last ball the way of the Pies. They're plus 21 in tackles, and they lead it by a game-high 16-point margin. So much at stake. The Hawks' grasp on the top four is tenuous if they were to drop this one. Morrison, the Hawks being challenged after a belting last week. Wobbles it forward. Gunston early had the footy, hasn't seen much of it. Spins on a dime. Gunston hooks it. So a couple of chances go wide for the brown and gold.
Options again there from a Hawthorn point of view.
We'll have to start making it difficult for Collingwood to move the ball coast to coast.
They've been good, haven't they? You've seen it. Can fall back at times this year regularly. Houston just places it. West, good competition from Barris that time. Day got pushed off the ball by Allen, then he turns tackler, but Day found a way through, gave it a more. Never easy from there, and maybe that wasn't the percentage play.
I hate to harp on it, but that's 3 inside 50 shots on goal. There's been better options from a Hawthorn point of view.
Harp away, Jack.
You've just got to have those team ethos behaviours that make you a really good club. That'll make you a good club coming into September as well. At the moment, it looks like every single player from Hawthorn ahead of the ball is trying to get them back into the game themselves.
Is that easy to fall into that trap? Like you want to be the
I think it's the pressure that's building on them, obviously the physical pressure, but the turnover pressure too that Collingwood are inflicting.
Kick the last 4, Collingwood. DeGoey scoops it up to Nick Dacos. Possession number 16. Sets a task in the middle. Poke forward. Morrison's got to be good. Houston just grabs him. Meat kicked an early goal. Harrison, the late inclusion for side by Barris over the top of his head. He doesn't want to be turned inside out. Big Tom Membry kicked 3 behinds in the first term. Back to Schultz. Hawthorn under pressure again. Membry, it's the important kick. Sends it deep forward. Bevy of players around it. Slick hands. Should be another one for the Pies. Oh, look at that! Off the outside of the boot from Steele. He can't believe it. And Collingwood have nailed 5 in a row.
Well, this is all in the planning. So what they're doing with Tom Barris is bringing him high and forcing him to retreat back to goal. We saw it work last week successfully for the Brisbane Lions. And it's a challenge because he doesn't have great speed to recover, to get back. He needs defensive positioning. He needs to see the ball and the game coming at him. So Membry's doing a great job, and he's having an influence on this game, whether he's touching the ball or he's not. He's changing the Hawthorn back 6 and their positioning.
Big props to Charlie West there as well. In a really bad position, caught in the front of the contest. He's the one that brings the ball back to the front, and it's this young brigade that's getting involved from Collingwood there.
Not the most conventional snap for goal, was it? I mentioned 5 Collingwood players under 10 games coming in tonight. The Hawks only have 2 under 50, including the debutants like Max Beattie. So the Wizards going into the middle, but that is going Collingwood's way again. It's Newcomb to Long. Instant give to Houston. We know it's going to be deep. It's a little wide. Can Schultz get there? Pumping those legs. McCreery. Schultz is still there or thereabout. Fell back to McCreery and battle. Was able to hold him up. Margin at 20. More numbers swarming around the football. Newcomb waiting for the tap out. Instead it's McKenzie. Busy around the drop of the ball. One arm from Dacos is good enough to win it. McDonald was good enough to get it back off him. Up for grabs again. Harrison, that fearsome, repetitive tackle. That one goes the ways of the umpire, in fact, rather than one way or the other. So it's 44 tackles to 21 as it stands now. They have started to lay some skin.
They can't waltz through the contest. Collingwood. Gee, that's a heavy meeting between Schultz and McDonald. It's played as free to the number 8.
They look too quick for him in their forward line at the moment, Collingwood. They're making Hawthorn look slow.
Thought about laying it off in the end. Dumps it long. Stay at the back. Yeah, 2 good grabs at that. Protest of too much. DeGoey. McStay. D'Ambrosio. Clever by hand. Sends it out by foot. Gunston. And there's the rip to ground. And they'll probably go against Puncher.
Now, buy some time for the numbers to swarm back. From a Collingwood point of view, they're really challenging Hawthorn to get aggressive with their field kicking and try and get the ball back into the corridor. They'll give up these wide options. They can keep them same side. It makes it very difficult to go forward and score. And this is a Craig McRae special right now defensively.
Last goal was 6 minutes into this term. Since then, 4 consecutive majors off the bird of the pies. Battle to half forward. Chol again. Beautiful judgment. And we'll just back towards goal. There's no size on offer really. Went to the pocket towards McDonald. Wasn't going to get that punch up. Sneaks in front and attacks the mark. And then that's his first disposal of the night, but he's been able to just keep Gunston quiet so far.
Big fly from McStay. Through traffic, long. Allen. Gee, they look good, Collingwood. Now DeGoey. McCreary with the pace. He's already kicked one on the run. Doesn't take the bounce. Didn't quite straighten up by McCreary. He slaps his hands in disappointment.
Quickly to Wimpy. And with haste to Morrison on the wing. Good challenge from Harrison. Great win from Morrison. And got it just right on the kick to Moore, but still under pressure. That pressure is just relentless. At them again. The hands from Harrison. The kick from Houston. To go, he had to make a contest. And McCreary bursting through, unstoppable in full flight. And his delivery was perfect as well. Still knows where the goals are. We've seen that already once.
Well, Lockie Schultz is standing there with his arms up. He was in the pocket for both of those 2 inside 50 kicks. And very dangerous at the moment, Lockie Schultz, getting a lot of separation.
Hawthorn are having trouble moving it out of half back. Newcomb down the line. Got done by Big Lloyd. Watson steams forward. Started well, Nick Watson's been pretty quiet the second term. Morrison looks to the middle. Still wants to go to the middle. Nothing really presents. Now Watson. He only needs a little bit of space. Creates a little bit to Gunston. He comes back, Watson. Gunston in about 6 different minds. Takes his time, lays it off over the top of Chol. Mitch Lewis to go. The 2-2s meet. To go, he wins the battle of the numbers, then slips it out wide. Oh, watch out for Nick Watson. Provides the pressure. Collingwood get the hand pass away. Quaynor is standing up under pressure with a wobbly ball out of defence. Now Barris and Membry got well done. The Collingwood back 6.
Last disposal. Goes Hawthorn's way. Quickly back to Amon. So down to the last 2 minutes and 22 here at the MCG. And Impey just trying to size it all up. And plays it back to Sicily, which does show you how disciplined Collingwood is.
Just don't give up corridor. It's 82 disposals to 50 in corridor at the moment. So they'll let them do this all day.
And you see about 6 Collingwood bodies guarding. And no Hawthorn player venturing in there at the moment. Weddle takes the outside lane and it's cut off. It's a roadblock. It's Steele. Instinctively want to release it, but just had to make sure of it.
Mention all those bodies in the middle there, Hutto. These are the players now that are getting used. Collingwood can come back through the middle of the ground.
Nick hasn't dominated in this second term. It's been a great team performance, but that was measured perfectly to McStay. He's been their best source of goals this year, and particularly, as we know, in the back half of the season. But he too hasn't had to fire so much tonight. Not there for Schultz. Ground ball for Hayes initially. Allen, Mi, just threw it on the boot. Guarded again. Steele. He's had 3 goes at it. And with the target, he's got one of each. The goal, the behind, and out on the foot.
Just so set behind the ball now, Collingwood. This is the real challenge. Wait to see what Sam Mitchell does about this post-half-time. They're going to have to get more aggressive with their ball use, which can go one of 2 ways.
Battle. Defence has been under siege. Barris flies. Collingwood seemingly always at the fall of the ball. Another one for Nick Dacos to his brother, Josh. Loads it inside 50. McCreary in good position. Early contact. It's going against the Pies. So a let off with Battle. 47 seconds on the clock, and the Hawks they need the half-time stanza.
It's Lucky Schultz. Battle. Oh, again, as the crowd look at the replay, Lewis in the right play, pulls the mark down, sends Hawthorn forward, sends them wide to Joel. They've got some run here. They need that dash. They need something to take with them into half-time. Tick, tick goes the clock. Kick, kick goes Joel. Down the line of the pocket, Gunston out of his reach. The Wizards 15 metres off, waiting for a handball to come his way. Moore's trying desperately to get it to him, but you can see Dacos and co are still not giving an inch. And all Sam Mitchell can do is have a defensive position in the box like that with arms crossed. And you can't blame him.
Closing moments. Schultz looks to the line and Pearce and find it.
So this is a Hawthorn home game, but the Collingwood fans that are here, they're going to give their team an enormous reception here at half-time.
It was all square at quarter time. Collingwood have kicked the last 5 goals of this match. They lead it by 22 points. Game high margin. So important on the ladder this game. So a big turn for the Pies. And the black and white army rise as one, because they have loved what they've seen. 7-5-47. They kicked the last 5 after Chol kicked Yopner of the second term. Hawthorn 3-7-25. A 22-point margin. And when we have a look at the live ladder, Melbourne at the moment in an alternate game are doing a big job and a percentage booster on Port Adelaide. Hawthorn sliding back to 5th. Collingwood nicely positioned. It shows the significance of what we're seeing here, Jack.
Yeah, this is a massive game for Hawthorn, especially off the back of last week. This is a bit of a solidification of where do you actually really sit as a football club. They have been challenged off the back of a poor performance against Brisbane, and they've been beaten up, basically. You look at that pressure factor there. Collingwood have come to play. They have brought the pressure, and at the moment you have to say that Hawthorn have crumbled. They've crumbled under what is finals-like pressure, and certainly Craig McRae would be absolutely wrapped.
Still have 10 quarters to do something about it, Jack. Let's get down to Cam Mooney.
Well, Scotty, you must be absolutely thrilled with that half of football.
Yeah, it's the sort of game we want, isn't it? Our front half game's been really good. Our pressure's been awesome, and we've been able to get through them, which has been nice.
Young defenders down back. We spoke about them before the game. They're under so much pressure coming into the game, but they've held up so well.
Yeah, and we just want to connect to our system and play that and trust what we see in front of the ball and just be really decisive when we need to go and make decisions, and they've been fantastic.
All right, Scotty, go for second up, brother.
Thank you, Moons and Scott Pettigrew. Why would he want to retire when his club and his team are able to produce a half like that? So many of his contemporaries are out injured at the moment, but the youngsters of the Pies are really taking it up to Hawthorn and more. The last 4 goals of the quarter, and they lead by 22 points at half-time. What a super Saturday if you're a Collingwood fan, and there's more to come.
All right, there we go, folks. Half time here at the MCG. Go Pies. Let's hope they can continue what they've started in the opening half. 7-5-47. Hawthorn 3-7-25. There we go. 22 points is the margin at half time. And I tell you what, any faster pace on this game, and they'll be running in the 100-metre Olympics, these players. I tell you what, Manny, I think, you know what, I think you're right, because still Sidebottom retiring this year. I think Pendles will certainly go on for one more year. As I said, he's a little bit of a coach out on the ground. I think he'll definitely stay out there. But I tell you what, this is a fast-paced game. Look, both teams moving the ball quite well. Hawthorn moving with the speed, but Collingwood, I tell you what, their pressure is absolutely incredible. It's up there over the 200. And what we've seen to notice is they're defying Hawthorn from going through the corridor, putting them wide, and of course they're doing a little bit what Brisbane did last week, where Hawthorn likes to, when they get the mark, is that quick handball. They're stopping that a little bit as well tonight. But yeah, the Hawks, they're under immense pressure, and of course the Collingwood backline, the youngsters, they're holding up really well. Tell you what, Lockie Schultz looks pretty good out there at the moment. He's given plenty of run. Bo McCreary, it was an absolute ring-a-ding-ding second quarter there. Tell you what, he had a cracker. Dacos doing well. And of course, a few of the Hawthorn boys going pretty good too. Tell you what, this game is far from over. Of course, last time these two teams met, it was a draw. Make no mistake, 22 points is the margin, but anything's going to happen. I tell you what, can the Hawks lift? Can they fight through the pressure of the Magpies? Or can the Magpies, after half-time, can they, I tell you what, can they continue the pressure and put Hawthorn to sleep? That's what we're hoping for as a Magpies supporter. Of course, both teams got a lot to play for. Hey, let's just have a look at the live ladder as it stands. Of course, Melbourne, they're giving Port Adelaide an absolute bath over there in so far, 2 minutes into the second quarter. Melbourne are 7-2-44. Port Adelaide 2-2-14, 30 points the margin over there. So Hawthorn, they're dropping down under Melbourne. Of course, Hawthorn and Collingwood were certainly hoping Port would beat Melbourne. Yeah, that drops. That'll drop Hawthorn out of the top four. Tell you what, they could miss top four if things don't go their way. Of course, if Hawthorn do happen to lose tonight's game against Collingwood, funnily enough, Hawthorn will be absolutely cheering for Collingwood next week because they'll be playing Brisbane Lions next week. Good news for the Pies. They're up to 8th spot if they hold on to this position. The only thing is they need Geelong to lose next week, but I think Geelong are playing Richmond, so it's going to be pretty tough. It's going to be pretty tough, but I tell you what, we're in for a great game. Hey, let's have a look at the goal scorers up until half-time. Addy G, what's going on? There we go. I tell you what, I still don't think any team in the comp at the moment can match it with Freo, so you can breathe easy there. There's only one multiple goal scorer in the game. That's Charlie West from the Magpies. He's kicked 2 goals from his 2 kicks. Rowan Steele, he's got 1 goal. He had about 3 or 4 shots in that quarter. Missed a couple out in the fools. I tell you what, he just needs to get his boot on. Bo McCreary got a goal. Nick Dacos got a goal. Angus Anderson, Edward Allen, there your singles for the Pies. Of course, for Hawthorn, John Newcomb, Lloyd Meek, Mo Chol are the other single goal scorers. We'll come back to the stats in a minute. Let's head back to the commentators. They'll give us a little bit of analysis on the opening half.
Elite team performance, as I said, by the Pies. There's 100% buy-in tonight.
Yeah, it's been a complete reversal of the stats line from round 8 as well. Collingwood have been able to force the ball in their forward 50 and have had lots of inside 50s compared to Hawthorn. Hawthorn have struggled to get it out. So I'm sure Craig McRae at the moment, King, would be absolutely thrilled with the way his team have started. They've certainly taken it to the Hawks.
I think he set this game up perfectly. The speed of McCreary's a worry. The speed Membry versus Barris is a worry. The speed of the Dacos boys flying through the middle. DeGoey on occasion. He is making it a foot race in the forward half, and the Hawks don't have the speed back there to cope. Impey's covered a couple of times, but outside of that, it's trouble. And this is highlighted in this one bit of play here. Now, Membry has only had the 7 disposals. 5 of those have become scores. It's the setup. Look at that. In 2 steps, he's away from Barris, and you get a good opportunity and a high-quality look, and Barris is a non-factor. 2 intercepts for the half for Barris. When he has 6 or more, they're undefeated. They've won all 9 games. When he has 5 or less, they're a 50-50 proposition. So they've gone after the head of the snake. And to beat this back line, you have to beat Tom Barris. And they are doing that right now.
Like it, Kingy. Collingwood, they had 34 inside 50s for the match last time they played Hawthorn in round 8. They've had 35 already, and it's only half time. But the big stat, Jack, is the tackle counts and the differential, plus 21 at half time. That's huge by the Pies.
Yeah, that's Collingwood's best differential, equal differential this year, plus 21. You can see it. Hawthorn's worst since round 2, 2024. So that pressure as well, this 191. And King, you alluded to this in the pre-game as well. This is the stat that Sam Mitchell would be looking at, is this tackle differential, tackle accumulated over the ground. Under 55, they really do struggle.
How are you seeing Mabior Chol's game, Jack?
Look, I'm frustrated again. I think Sam Mitchell would be frustrated as well. These are moments where you've got to come in, and he could have really gone that ball and challenged Nick Dacos and didn't want the contest here. And right now, coming out of their own D half, they've struggled. He's 90 metres away from the ball. Not too far away. Doesn't get involved in the contest. Happy to rely on a small mid or a medium mid down there to provide that aerial contest, which is exactly where Mabior Chol needs to be as a key forward of this football club. And he's a player that plays on confidence, and his confidence is down at the moment. And that is an effort there that you would expect 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 times as a key forward that you take those marks. He looks like is all at sea at the moment, Marbiel Chol.
A few heads in the hands of Hawthorn fans when they saw that here at the G. Well, not long to go now until the 2026 All-Australian team is revealed. It is the highlight of the AFL Awards night, which is coming up Tuesday week, live and exclusive to Fox Footy.
All right, the commentators are just off on another break. There we go. There we go. Freo 2015. Their first minor premiership, and this year is their second. As I said, it'll be great. Yeah, Coxie played a good game for Freo. Was it Thursday night or Friday night? He actually played a good game, took a couple of good grabs. So, yeah, look, I think Coxie will be, I think he'll hang on into the side, especially after the effort he put in there the other night. But, yeah, I think if Freo don't win this year, I don't think, I tell you what, I don't think they'll ever win, because I think, hey, Music Cat's King, there we go. How you doing? Yeah, there we go. I think Freo might have a good 4 or 5 years ahead of them. Anyway, back to the stats. Hey, just for Music Cat's King, there we go. Your boys are up into 6th position. Look, I know it's not what you wanted to see. Collingwood beating Hawthorn for a Geelong supporter, but that's all right. You still got Hawthorn, Melbourne or Brisbane to lose next week, and the Cats will go up there, because I think you play Richmond. I think you play Richmond next week. There we go. Hey, getting back to the stats. Disposal getters out on the ground. Jordan Ngoe, I tell you what, he's going right out there as well. He's leading the way with the Brownlow medalist of 2026, Nick Dacos, both on 18 disposals. Ngoe's had 2 clearances, 11 kicks, 7 handballs. Dacos has had 9 kicks, 9 handballs. He's just had a clearance and a goal. There we go, the top 2. Jamin Impey having a reasonably good game there for the Hawks. He's had 16 disposals, 12 kicks, 4 handballs. He's had 7 marks, and just to behind for him, Josh Dacos. I tell you what, they're skilled brothers, these two. 16 disposals for him, giving them plenty of run off the back. Sam Swaddling, 14. Morrison is on 14 there for the Hawks, with Josh Battle on 13. There we go. Rowan Still, he's gone all right there for the Maggies. 11 disposals, 7 kicks. Missed a few shots on goal there, but still coming up with 1 goal. The old boy, Scotty Pendlebury, 10 touches for the Maggies. Bailey McDonald on 11 also for Hawthorn. Dylan Moore, he could do with a little bit more lifting. Tell you what, there's a couple that have been held pretty well. Dan McStay yet to get on the board. He's had 10 disposals, 5 and 5 for him. Hoping for a little bit more out of him. John Newcomb, just the 9 touches, 1 goal. As I said, Will Day, and they've closed him down reasonably well as the mids. 9 touches for Will Day, 4 kicks, 5 handballs, 2 clearances. That is all for him. Wardle on 8. Nick Watson, the Wizard, tell you what, he's got some speed. But Quaynar's doing reasonably good on him. 8 disposals for him. Untroubled the scoreboard. No goals, no behinds. 5 kicks. 3 handballs, there we go for him. Lloyd Meek there, 6 touches, 23 hitouts of clearances and a goal, the big ruckman there for the Mighty Hawks. Jack Ginnivan, unsided, he's only had 6 touches, the mouth of the South. He usually tries to open his gob against the Magpies, but they've kept it quiet and stitched his mouth up tonight. But hey, you just never know. He could come out and have a big second half. We'll certainly see when that happens. Isaac Quainer, just the 5 touches. I said, I think he's playing on the whiz, but doing a good job holding him. Jack Crisp, a little bit quiet, 5 touches. Lockie Schultz, although he hasn't scored yet, he's had 4 touches, 2 and 2. Tell you what, he's doing some work outside of that, so doing well. Moab Chol needs to lift his act a little bit. And of course, Jack Gunston, 6 kicks for him, 6 touches, just the 2 behinds, yet to get on the board. Did have a couple of shots in the opening term, but not that accurate. There we go. Looking at the disposal count, some Magpies by 19 at the moment, up until half time. Disposal efficiency, 74-73%, so not too bad. Free kicks, umpires letting it roll a little bit, 8 to 11, Magpies +3. The hit-outs, Hawks doing the job there, 23-10, they're +13, but the clearances, surprisingly enough, the Magpies getting the job there by 10. 6-3 out of the centre. It's +3 out of the centre to the Maggies and +7 around the ground in the stoppages. Contested possession, well, Magpies +3. It's pretty hotly contested game, this one. Uncontested, nice to see Hawthorn stopping, Collingwood stopping their uncontested possessions of Hawthorn, 120, 130 Pies by 10 there. Just having a look at the marks there. Hawthorn having a few more marks, 57-36, +19 there. Hawks just found their target twice more than the Maggies there. So far, 7-5, a little bit better in the air of the Hawks, 3-1. Just coming down, have a look at this defensive work by both of these teams. Hawthorn really struggling in the defensive work. 25 tackles the Hawks, 46 the Magpies. That is pressure they're bringing the Magpies. And the Hawks just can't quite handle it at this part of the game. They're +21 tackles. Craig McRae be super happy. And if you don't mind, umpire, have a look at this stat when this loads back up. Come on. Tackles inside forward 50, 13-1. 13-1. The Magpies +12. They're already above season average, and it's only up to half time. That is what you got to do. The good teams, Eddie, Manny, Music Has King. We know it. You got to put pressure on. You got to put the tackles on. Look, Hawthorn are good with the ball moving, but I tell you what, their pressure acts still a little bit left to be desired. 10 scoring shots to 12. It's the Magpies by 22 points. 22 points at the moment. Tell you what, there we go. Let me just double check the score over there at Adelaide Oval. Of course, 13 minutes into the second term there. It's the Demons leading by 30 points, 8-2-50 to Port Adelaide, 3-2-20. 30 points is the margin, closing in on 14 minutes into the second term over there in Adelaide. And, of course, if anyone's interested in the NRL, of course, the New Zealand Warriors at the moment, they're leading the Brisbane Broncos 34-0. 34-0, so it's, they're copping an absolute crunching the Brisbane Broncos over there. If you follow the NR, tackles in forward 50 is diabolical. I know, just one for the Hawks. Tell you what, they've got to do a lot more than that. Like I suppose when you got players, look, the Wiz down there in forward, he should be putting a little bit more pressure on and trying to, he's a little bit like Lockie Schultz, just so in and under players. I know the Wiz has got a lot of speed, a lot of pace, can outrun them, but that's a little bit with a couple of the forwards like Chol and Gunston. They sort of, they don't really have that speed to chase and put the tackles on, so it leaves them a little bit vulnerable there. Whereas Collingwood has got a couple of the young blokes with a little bit more toe, and they can certainly do that. Lockie Schultz is one of those who can certainly do that, put his pressure on. But mouth from the south with his megaphone. It's certainly quiet. There we go. John Newcomb, too busy playing tennis. Oh, Newcomb, yeah. I tell you what, though, 22 points is a margin here at half time. But, look, Pies have got nothing to lose, mate. When you watch your teams play like they did in the opening half, you've got to think to yourself, whether it's Collingwood or your own team you're watching, why don't they play like this in other games throughout the year instead of sometimes they're just a little bit lackluster and just pondering along. But yeah, it's good to see when the teams are up and flying, putting the pressure on, giving it their all. Like even a team like Richmond, who's pretty much down the bottom of the ladder, they give it they give it a crack every week. They keep trying even though they're down the bottom of the ladder, and that's all you can hope from your team. Win, lose or draw. If your team gives a good performance, gives 100% energy and go to their game, you can't ask much more than that. There we go. So that's exactly what the Pies are doing tonight. But, look, that being said, Hawthorn had some good plays, but just the defence of the Magpies, just holding them really good. They're just doing a good job on them. So, Hawthorn's forwards could still get off the leash in the second half, but we're going to certainly find that out in just a few moments' time when the bounce of the ball for the third quarter, folks, is upon us in 1 minute's time. We're going to head back to the commentators in just a jiffy. There we go. But, you know, look, when you're heading into finals in a couple of weeks' time, you certainly do want to be running into form. And, of course, Hawthorn certainly want to come back in this game and show a little bit of authority in this game. Of course, Collingwood next week, folks. We'll let you know who they're playing next week. Collingwood next week, big game, of course, for all teams around them. Next Friday night football at the MCG, Collingwood will take on the Brisbane Lions. That's going to be a clanger of a game. That's going to be a ring-a-ding-ding game. Tell you what, that's going to be an interesting game. Brisbane in red-hot form. Pie's going reasonably good. So it's going to be an interesting game. Hawthorn next week, you would think they would have a victory. You would think so. They're playing a West Coast Eagles over there at Optus Stadium in Perth. Of course, that's next Sunday week. So you would think Hawthorn should get that game done and dusted. So it all depends. Look, Hawthorn, as I said, Hawthorn will definitely be cheering on Collingwood next week. Geelong, I was going to say the Cats will be cheering on Collingwood next week against Brisbane. But the 60, absolutely. Your percentage, the Cats is about fractionally better than Brisbane's, and of course I think next week I did have it there, didn't I? Yeah, Geelong play Richmond down there at the Gabba, so they'll be looking for a percentage booster and see what's happening. I don't know what's happened to my gosh. I've got to. I've got to reload this up. Let me put it back there. I don't know what's happened to the sound. Let me just resume that. And we'll head back down there. All right, just a sec, folks. We're going to take you back to the commentators. I just need to get the other one up as well. All right, that's enough for me. Let's head back down to the action for the third quarter where it's the Pies by 21.
West, hand to it. Deflects over the boundary. So can the Pies come out with the same vigour they had in the first half?
Well, they're totally controlling clearances at the moment, +9 in favour of the Pies. So you'd like to see a response from Newcomb and Day, see if they can get busy.
Cameron, you see the guiding tap was designed for Dacos, not to be. Lewis, a couple of goes at it. It was too big on Ward. Anderson couldn't quite connect with Crispo. Has a second go at it. Morrison's not letting go for anyone.
Anderson kicked a goal in the first half. Meat with his bulk also kicked one early. Mitch Lewis taps it into the path of Newcomb, gets the bounces after. Day immediately caught. Watson hasn't been a factor. Dumped across the line by Jack Crisp.
McDonald and Ginnivan are another couple of players that are sort of those, and they're hype players for Hawthorn. When they get going, they play very well. They've only had the 6 and 5 disposals.
Watson 8 touches, but hasn't hit the scoreboard in any meaningful way. Oh, Ward, golden opportunity. He needed to handle it cleanly. He didn't, as you saw. And the Collingwood defence just able to clog it up. Chris happy to absorb the Ward tackle.
Ed Allen's doing a terrific job on Newcomb. That stoppage, he's just had the one clearance and he's tracking him everywhere, getting body on at the right time. You can see them there, standing toe-to-toe.
Quainer stands behind Watson, who got a block from Mitch Lewis. There's Lewis again. Dacos just continuing to do Dacos things. Hemmed in impossible spaces and finding a way out. Pendlebury can't control it.
Really rare fumble there from Scott Pendlebury, but the work before with Dacos was unbelievable.
So not only is Ed Allen stopping Newcomb, his handball work. He's had 10 handballs tonight of his 13 disposals. He set them on a path more often than not.
He's the highest rated player on the ground, I think, at half-time. He directs it down. Dacos onto it quickly. Ward all knowing the boundaries there, and that's the most likely result, but Newcomb has other ideas. Morrison shut down immediately again, and the tackling hasn't stopped. Jack Crisp that time. Up and at it again. Even Pendlebury can't find a way out of that jam.
What do they need to start doing, Hawthorn, David?
Oh, they need to find a way to get their hands on the ball at clearance. That's the first port of call. Their midfield got to get busy.
Dacos Disposal 21. Some flow for the Pies now through Allen, the aforementioned. They run forward. Houston coming back. Barris tracks it back over his head. He's got West pressuring him, so forced to screw it back around the corner, contest in the air. And again, Barris just under a bit of pressure.
Yeah, and he's made the change. He's not going to Membry anymore because Membry's outsmarting him. He's taking him to places where he can only defend charging back to goal. So he's gone to the youngster in West and trying to dominate that matchup. So that's an alteration Mitchell's made.
Joel, the deepest forward at the moment, at one end of the ground. Fully on the wing. Ward was able to keep the hands clean and effective. Day took off, thought he could blaze through. And the umpire gave him a bit of time. I'm not sure the tackle was fully complete, but and that's the argument he's making.
Just had options though, like bits of the Cam McKenzie conversation as well. Always looking to do too much with the ball rather than do the simple things.
Lockie Schiltz. Locked on again. Floats one forward. Barris leads with the fist. Battle, McCreary. Got past Ginnivan. Good hands to Allen, to Pendlebury. A step too many. Not many could run him down like that. There's not many like Watson.
And that's the beauty of Barris facing play. A big defensive fist.
Watson needs something from Chol. Competes in the air. He was infringed. Plays on immediately. Ward. The leads come up at him in the form of Moore. Mitch Lewis with his step. Sends it into the pocket. Ginnivan hasn't been a factor. Gunston is well shepherded by Ginnivan. Is it well shepherded? The umpire says it is. So can this be the first step back for the Hawks?
Excellent work there from Hawthorn from half-back.
Game 299, 606 goals. Next in front of him is Michael Roach, who he now equals with 607. And it's a step back for Hawthorn.
Well, exactly what they needed, Hawthorn, just to get some fluency into the way they're moving the ball into their forward half there. Jack Gunston was the player that was free out the back and was able to be found in the end. This kick from Mitch Lewis, he saw Gunston there, so he needed to put it in a position where they were able to engage Puncher. That was the critical thing that needed to happen between that 2v1. Potentially Jack Ginnivan may have held Puncher there, but the turnover happened, and when turnovers happen like that, you will get free numbers ahead of the ball, and a good finish from Gunston.
Good work from one Jack G to help the other. His 53rd goal of the season. Will play his 300th game in Perth next week. He's expected to travel. He gets through tonight. The Hawks will need to win that game, particularly if they go down tonight. Cameron with a handoff to Allen. Forward hands, and full forward they go. In flight, it's Dacos. The angle of the kick, it didn't have the depth, and well done Sicily. And the Hawthorn fans trying to get behind their captain. They've all got to play their part.
200th for the co-captain Sicily. Always very casual with ball in hand. Punches it down the line. The Flyers come. Bubbles off the head. Bit of fortune for Ginnivan. Hawks looking to go two in a row. Watson will stream forward. Gives it to McDonald. Big kick coming from McDonald. Big kick coming from McDonald. And another miss for Hawthorn.
And another easy handball over the top to Jack Gunston. It's a stroll-in goal.
Strolling.
There's just flamethrowers everywhere out there at the moment. They're setting fire to each other.
There he is, just a pop over the top.
4 times tonight?
It's at least 4 times. In close games like this, it has a huge impact just to keep this momentum they have right now.
Houston, aggressive kick. A lot could go wrong, and it did. Impey puts it on the chest of Ward and just needed one more kick to put them within range. Or more. Saw a man on his own, Mitch Lewis in the goal square, and he handballs, and that's much more team-orientated and effective. Maybe that's the winds of change on a Saturday night at the MCG, 2 in a row, and they close the gap.
So look at the Harley Hall replay. I don't know what Dan Houston was thinking or what he saw upfield. There was 4 brown and gold jumpers there, and for all the flamethrowers that are being thrown out here, this is the way to get it back. And we talk about walking goals, that's what sharing of the ball inside forward 50 can actually do. To turn around there, Dylan Moore, some players don't turn their back around, they don't see what's ahead of them. Sees Mitch Lewis, and just an easy handball and goal. Great team play there.
Maybe Chol enjoyed it. So the first two of the half for the Hawks, 22 points, all of a sudden squeezed back to an 8-point margin. Centre clearance all important. McKenzie and Nick Dacos. Allen and Day. DeGoey and Ward, the two ruckmen. They're your men in the middle. Meek stays down. Doesn't get much purchase on the kick. Hawthorn should get the clearance through Ward. Sicily has got a big boot on him, but elects to go by hand to Day. Will Day. Hawthorn fans hold their breath. Quaynor is going to be under tremendous pressure. Gunston came in from the side. Got good hands to it, but the spoil came. Dacos with a high, hopeful ball out of defence. McKenzie waits. Stood underneath it. He'll get the free kick, McKenzie. Might be on his distance.
It was there. Quaynor infringed him. McKenzie had eyes for the ball. Germany Piggy sitting off the back here.
3 goals for the season. It'll take his best, McKenzie. 15 career goals in 65 games before tonight. To make it 3 in a row for the Hawks. To lift their supporters, the number 28. Distance is going to be the challenge. Hooks it, going for the distance. Holds its line. 2 arms in the air. Hawthorn go bang, bang, bang. And it's back to a 2-point margin.
Good to have you back, Howie.
Yeah.
This third term, the Hawks have taken control.
Resuscitated.
And they've found better avenues, deeper entries. You can see Sicily give that ball to Will Day to charge for that deeper entry to the goal line. Josh Dacos had no option. He just had to blast the ball high and hope for support to arrive. Quaynor was obligated to go for that contact, knowing he had a poor position and was probably going to give away a free kick, but that is some sort of finish to keep this momentum rolling.
Just his 4th goal for the year. Those young mids on the rise, going to add that goal-kicking element to the game. What a kick.
And I think importantly as well, the pressure from Hawthorn, 194 at the start of this third quarter.
From 22 down to 2, so back in the middle. Heightened clearance, and it's a throw. We thought he was going to get a free, instead he gives it away. Arguing the toss, even after all these years. Mick takes it out wide today. You can see the look and the glint in the eye of these leading Hawks players. It's a different ball game at the MCG all of a sudden.
Yeah, they won 3 of 4 centre-bounce clearances, and that's the gap in the game. Forward line now lighting up. This would be huge.
Oh, wouldn't it? 5 goals, 7 for the season. Here's a long-range left foot kick, though, is Massimo D'Ambrosio. And the Hawthorn crowd will erupt. We are right behind him, and so are they. It was close, but close enough.
9-4 inside 50s this quarter already. Hawthorn throwing down the challenge to Collingwood. How do they get the ball out of their back half?
What have they done, the Hawks, Jack?
It's just the pressure. I think King hit the nail on the head. They've been able to win the ball.
Collingwood now looking to exit and doing it beautifully. McCreary, centimetre perfect, to quote the great Dennis Cometti. McCreary kicked a goal early. Looks forward to the football. West makes good position. Collingwood looking for an immediate answer to snuff out this momentum for the Hawks. It's ambitious moving forward. Hardwick, always a good man in a crisis. McKenzie needs to get rid of the football. Went very dinky to the debutant. He's done some nice things. Max Beattie, that one was a bit overcooked. Here's a big ball to be won in the middle of the MCG. Amon goes off the ground. They put it into the hands of Watson. Throws it forward. Hawthorn are in front at the MCG. McDonald, Watson and Gunston combined. 4 in a row.
Well, they're back, Hawthorn. And you can see here on the Bunnings build-up the reason why. Young Max Beattie bit off more than he could chew. And Jarman Impey, fingertips, fingernails, was the ability to get it forward. And there you can see Jack Gunston, the best in the competition at finding length at the right time. But it was this effort here. That is incredible from Jarman Impey. Forward footy, momentum. It's all Hawthorn here in the third quarter.
Need a response now from Collingwood in the midfield. They've been assaulted in there. Hawks have not just wrestled control back, they've taken complete control in between the arcs.
5 in a row one way and then 4 the other. Everything going Hawthorn's way. Joel played up there. Good spoil from Morrison. Back towards the wing. Harrison overruns it to the advantage of McDonald. He has aim on. And his calm, confident kicking into the middle to Joel. Has to do the backup ruck work tonight. He overkicks that. Dacos lets it bounce. It gave him minimal time with a handball. You can see the result. He goes in to tidy up. Under pressure, puncher. That's just transformed to Crater everywhere he looked. There were Hawthorn players. It goes to Lewis. Crunch by long without the football. It's just starting to slip away from the prize. And they're getting some of their own back in this second half.
When I look at the replay here, I reckon Lewis nearly doesn't take the ball on purpose, just to make sure that he knew the pressure was coming. And when the head was down, Quaynor had no other option to go to. Fumble. There you go. As soon as you committed to that tackle from long, couldn't tell whether he had the ball or not.
So Mitch Lewis, and number 99. Tough kick, got to be long, got to be straight, got to be everything you need. And that's exactly what he delivers. Hawthorn now with an avalanche of goals. It has happened quickly.
And that's the area of vulnerability right now down back for Collingwood. They're missing a few key members, a few key components, and they're struggling. 11 inside 50s for the term for the Hawks for 5 goals 3. So 8 scores from 11 entries. They've got them under enormous pressure. And just the inexperience down there starting to leak. So if they can keep up this supply, the volume, the Hawks, they'll go on to have a nice win. But that's the challenge right now.
Collingwood kicked 5 in a row to lead it by 22 points at the half. Hawthorn have responded with the only 5. They were in 5th at the start of the half. Hawthorn, live ladder, squeezes them back into the top 3, showing the importance of this next quarter and a half of football. Hawthorn with the momentum. Now Collingwood are being challenged. They get it out of the middle again. Combining Newcomb, Ward, he steams ahead. Ran too far. Gunston was on the lead.
It was an absolute clinical centre bounce.
Just a step too many. Swaddling is the recipient. Eyes darting. Frampton. So they're going to work this member's wing. Billy's off for a trot. West got to judge it against Barris. You see the crumbs went to DeGoey. Forced his way through West. The goal was there. For the taking, this is to the right. Things that were hitting targets in the first half, not quite happening for Collingwood in the second so far.
And they're timing their own forward 50 here, Collingwood. Got to really be strong defensively, try and force Hawthorn back.
Weddle to the members' flank. Barris got his hands on plenty this evening, and that's his first big, strong contestant. Battle wants it down the line. The 2Bs looking to combine. He goes towards Battle. Front position. Dunstan was canny waiting down the back. Beattie's run was blocked. Long against his former team will be under pressure. Collingwood have got all the numbers, but coming in from the side, aim on just in the nick of time. McStay just cruises after the football. Not a bad result for the Hawks to see it across the line.
Sense that Hawthorn have just started to really win those critical one-on-one contests around the ground. See McRae, full coaching mode there with his champ, Nick Dacos. We've got a blood rule here.
Yeah, I reckon he's copped a knee right in their snout.
What are you seeing at ground level as far as the change of the game as we look at the replay, Moons?
Pressure. The boys have nailed it. The absolute pressure that Hawthorn are bringing. Finally, those key forwards, we'll speak about them at three-quarter time, the key forwards are starting to get on top of these young key defenders.
Thank you, Moons. Nick keen to get back on the ground. He's watching at close range. To go, he was on the move. Well handled by Schiltz. Fed it off to Long. High ball, Sicily. On his terms, the best in the business. Couldn't complete the actual intercept mark, as you saw, so stayed alive for Membry. Couldn't get it to the outside. Well, the Hawks are a different tackling unit so far in this third term. Another ball up close range. At the city end, been a bit barren for Collingwood in this third term.
Couple inside 50s in a row for the Pies, though. Solidly met in the tackle. Well, eventually Spirits free. Schultz trying to wrestle with McDonald.
Midpoint of a third term that has been totally dominated up until now by Hawthorn. Cameron's hands. Quick kick McKenzie over Swaddling. Over Crisp. And overall, there's a Lewis that sends Ginnivan on the way that outnumbered them. Interesting little kick forward. They still should goal. They're making it tough. McDonald to Charles. The Wizard is waiting and waiting, and it hasn't arrived yet. Charles swinging a miss. Harrison's tackle unrewarded. Interesting non-call. Now Watson's got the ball. He might have to do it himself, but even with the wave of the wands, they couldn't do it.
Wow. I don't know what McDonald was thinking there. He just had Marby on top for the easiest handball.
West, D'Ambrosio. Important for Swaddling to release the football. Does now. Beatty at ground level. West gives it back. Game gone up a notch as far as pressure goes. Harrison, the late in for side bottom. Skins it down the line. Didn't get a piece of it. McDonald marks. The Hawks will reload.
Yeah, Lucky, go with him. Go with him.
Ginnivan's kick, interesting before. Maybe a bit too cute.
Interesting. High from McDonald. Charles right at the back, Cameron right at the front, and Watson tries to get balance. They knew where he was. They just couldn't stop him. The snap. Not far off the mark.
Looking dangerous again, the Wizard, isn't he? It's the happy hunting ground for Nick Watson.
Review complete. Look at this angle. We can see the ball's controlled before crossing the back of the behind line. Decision on the scoreboard.
The draw the last two that sides met. Could be an important save. Ryan Steele, who kicked a beautiful goal himself earlier on. Comes to the near side. Meeks in the contest, shoving. Got first hands to it. West has roamed far and wide. Now Allen. Chance for the Pies. Sicily will track back and try and defend behind the ball. Here he is now, Sicily and Membry. He'll be casual as ever, Sicily. Membry pushes off him, wins the contest, wins the one-on-one. Long against his old side, trying to create something dangerous. Bouncing ball, battle, looks at the body, sees it to the line. It's not quite there. And the Hawks will actually retain possession. Newcomb works it. Now the Hawks have got the run.
They've got Beatty, the ninth debutant, feeding it forward to Morrison, and again in turn to Beatty, striding out along the wing, and again they've breached the Pies' defence. And there's Hawks galore. There's Watson in the pocket. He'll be tempted, but he does the right thing, and he goes short to Lewis.
Yeah, there is a lot of frees ahead of the ball for Hawthorn there.
We've seen it a lot.
Good players too. Really good players. Nick Watson's getting free ahead of the ball.
They look spent, Collingwood. They look out of tickets. The running game, the harassment level of the first half is just not quite there.
Quaynor's been pacing up and down this sideline for close to 5 minutes. He cannot get back on the ground.
5 unanswered goals in the quarter so far. Collingwood's last goal coming in the 23-minute mark of the second term. Mitch Lewis kicked one from one side. This is not the right side for a right footer. And that's how it pans out.
Just the changes, the subtle changes the coach has made. I think he's got a win out of Barris in this quarter, coming at the ball, full-chested. Sicily's positioning better.
It's an aggressive ball, 3 Hawks away. Barris again brings it to ground, not completing the mark. Drops it out by hand. McKenzie will try and dink it, goes to hand. Ginnivan, Watson, out the back is Lewis. Watson's threatened, he waited for the Shepherd, stands up in it, somehow gets it to McDonald. Nick Dacos gives you no room. And the Wizard is threatening.
Entry game, forward half intercepts, 5-0 this quarter for Hawthorn.
Hay tried to blast, Steele, deflected ball, Beatty and Hayes took care of each other. Inward went Morrison, Ginnivan, mishandles and then miskicks. Allen shot it out to Houston. Can they get aggressive off half back? To go he certainly was, and Pendlebury and West and Schultz. The next runner is Allen. Looks ahead, there's no one to give it to. Has to go back. bought some time. Steele to Schultz. Now he's got some options, and the prime one is long.
It's the ability to find a couple of seconds of time there to slow up and allow their forwards to get ahead of the ball. It's been what they've been searching for in the first 15 minutes of this third quarter, is when they've got out on those fast breaks there, they've had to kick to a one-on-one or a 2v1 with Hawthorn having that free behind. But there, just to come back inside, allow some time to get forward.
5 games as a Hawk. Ned Long was unwanted. And hasn't he made his way at Collingwood? And the Pies need a long straight kick. That's not what he's able to deliver. It has been a long time between goals, 33 minutes for Craig McRae.
Just that mark inside 50 is the difference, though. Now they get at least this chance to lock the ball in.
He took his time. Well, Houston fumbled one he would have taken 99 times out of 100.
Yeah, but it just gives them an opportunity to set behind the ball. We know this young group is struggling. Gunston's way out the back all by himself here. 60 metres from the nearest player.
That is as disconnected as you can possibly be.
That's the next suburb.
No, he was there for a second.
Howes has gone back. He's got 60 metres to cover to get back in the region of Gunston. Long missed the last chance. Wobbles it. Schultz dangerous. Hardwick effective. McCreary hassled out of it by Hardwick. Works out okay to Allen. Pendlebury with a no-look hand pass to McCreary. He's kicked one. Hawthorn have got the numbers. Membry. Oh, Membry nearly brought it to ground. Collingwood trying to throw a boot on it. McDonald rushes it through.
So they've been able to stem the bleeding, haven't they? Just holding it up, getting some opportunities without capitalising. Possession game, Hardwick to D'Ambrosio. Back to 9 points.
That's where you need those tools long down the line to have a presence. Charles down there, Meeks down there.
Nick comes with the ball. Cameron stays close and Cameron pulls the mark down. An excellent second half of the season. Swaddling gives him a way across and maybe a way forward. The youngster's off and running. Belts it deep. Membry is the target. Good contest in the air. Now underneath. Long tries to barge through. Handball in hope more than anything. Sicily lanes it back Hawthorn's way. Back under control with a bit of help from Barris. Touched on the way through, so there's no mark to Moore. Sicily forced a handball as well, out into a dead end. Pies try and capitalise. Steele's more like volleyball than footy. Hayes takes the shot and nails it from the pocket. Nails it down.
Well, forward 50 pressure. Just simple things. They just have the ability to just drop into a bit of a composed state that can sometimes become far too relaxed, the Hawks. And Sicily is probably the one there. That is a free kick. He got away with one there, Jordan De Goey. But here, they're just so casual. The handball just soaks up all of his time. Pressure coming, Membry, De Goey. They were all really good. Hayes stayed involved. That's a high-quality finish. But everything off the back of their defensive pressure.
You made a really good point, Kingy, about that mark inside 50 maybe 2 or 3 minutes ago from a Collingwood point of view. Allowed them time to take a breath and set up defensively. So you get the one re-entry there and Cameron's there and takes the mark, and all of a sudden you get back to the way Collingwood were playing in that first half.
It's the game we wanted at the MCG. So much on the line. Titans up again. Collingwood respond. 3:12 on the clock. Square at quarter time. Collingwood 22 to the good at half time. Hawthorn got out by 10. Back to a 3-point margin. In the shadows of three-quarter time, Ward out to Sicily. Again, so casual, run down from behind. Umpire let them go. No real urgency. Morrison's tackle will be rewarded.
Just want to keep charging here if you're Hawthorn. You've got them on the ropes. They've just had a little lapse here in concentration.
Morrison couldn't keep his place in the Hawthorn team in last year's finals. Possession 9/10 of the law. He'll be desperate to be part of it this time around. Swaddling took the corner well. He drives back. It's Hawthorn everywhere. It's James Sicily. And quickly to Impey. There's emergency still about the Hawks. They better watch out. Membry couldn't quite cross him completely in the tackle, but now they outnumber them around the football. Impey feeling that. The pressure is immense. Enter Nick Dacos. Around the full 360. Smother from Day. Back at you. Great stuff from Will Day. away. Found it forward. And taken to ground, Impey, no whistle. Flipped out to Dacos again. And Pendlebury might be inclined to give it back to the little chap. What can they construct of the outside of the boot? Did it reach Shields? It did. Just.
Credit to Nick Dacos there. He was the one that made the error with the Will Day smother and then automatically gets back on defence. Some of the superstars don't defend. He dug in the big ones there. You can sucking in the big ones there as well. Nick Dacos. It was excellent offence to defence and then offence again.
So now it's over to Lockie Schiltz. And a huge part of what Collingwood have delivered. He's a pressure-first player, but right now it's about absorbing that pressure and going back and trying to kick straight, which you can't do. So the Pies done well to get themselves back in the contest, but haven't capitalised. Look at that 1-4.
Swadling's doing some things as well. A really creative player.
Battle to the near side. Meek and Cameron. Cameron won the last contest in the air. Fisted down aggressively. Ginnivan taps into the path of Watson. Released immediately. Nice step from McCreary. Collingwood load again through Allen. Bangs it inside. Sicily stands underneath it. Brings it to ground. Falls to Anderson. Can't quite gather it. Throws his hands back under pressure. Barris gets in. 41 seconds on the clock.
Some little things there. McCreary is there for the handball and the fumble. No shot on goal.
Back in dispute in the pocket. No way out for Barris. McCreary sees to that. It was going too quickly, if anything.
Skirting the perimeter here, McCreary.
Just watch Pendlebury. Just communicating with the ruckman.
Schultz on the move. From the angle. Guarded well. There's Sicily. In his own sweet time. The clearing kick. Took someone who could run and stride out, and that someone was Josh Weddle. He's had two already as he runs the southern wing. Plays it forward a little too strongly to Moore. And Houston does what he needed to get it to safety. It's a free kick, is it? For last disposal. Deliberate. Moore takes it in no time at all. Gunston, was that an infringement? Yes, it was.
Well, all this has become available because of the kick from James Sicily. A 65-metre pass into the flight path of Josh Weddle. It was brilliant. Absolutely first-rate.
Oh, a lot hangs on this. Big body sport from Billy Frampton. He made him earn it, and he's going to have to earn this. One game short of 300. And the kick is just a fraction wide of an unjacked line. Oh, and what tension around the MCG. The Hawks hanging on to their double chance. They fought back hard in that quarter. Hit 5 unanswered goals. Collingwood realised what had happened, and they responded. Now we're almost back where we started. Just 3 points between them. Don't forget earlier in the year it was a draw. Could that happen again? All the possibilities are still before us.
You're watching Super Saturday Live on Fox. Brought to you by Toyota Hilux. Don't send a youth to do...
All right, there we go, folks. We'll be back in a minute with the commentators for the final quarter. It's boo, the Hawthorn 8-12-60, leading 3 points to the Magpies 8-9-57, 3 points. The umpires are an absolute bloody disgrace. I tell you what, if someone's not, if these umpires or one or two of them aren't on the take in this game, this is an absolute rigged umpires. This is the most disgraceful umpiring I've seen all season in one quarter that's changed the game fully around. The umpires in the third quarter, they kicked 5 goals, 5. Collingwood, though, they just kicked 1 goal, 4. Absolute disgrace, the umpire. And I tell you what, there's free kicks. Like Pendles gets caught for holding the ball. They said it was a throw, and then the Hawthorn bloke, 2 of them, one was exactly the same, was called for holding a man. You've got to be kidding. And they have a shot on goal and get the goal. They're absolute disgrace, to tell you what. I hope these umpires are a little bit more fairer in the third quarter. Look, maybe this game will come down to a draw. Who knows? One thing for Hawthorn, though, in that third quarter, they did get their chain of handball going really, really well. That's due to the lack of pressure from Collingwood in that third term. Of course, they spent a lot in the opening half, and the Hawks certainly looked dangerous when they did go through the corridor, and then they just got players out in space. Gunston was left on his own in the forward. What do you call it? In the square, in the forward square. That's it. Oh my God, I don't know what I'm talking about. There we go. Left arm man kicked a goal. The Magpies are just letting Hawthorn players get too loose. They've got to be tagging a little bit more closer, get that pressure back on. But I tell you what, it's going to be an interesting final quarter here, folks. It's going to be an interesting final quarter. Someone certainly needs to go out and do something to those umpires. I don't know. I'm not saying go and do something bad to them, but I tell you what, they should be sacked. They should not these umpires should not be umpiring the finals football, because there's no doubt these umpires are influenced in some way, shape or form. That's on the record. They are influenced, the way they've changed this game. It's incredible. All we want, whether your team wins or loses, is to be umpired fair. That's all. We want the better team to win, not the umpires to have a decision in the game. But Stephen King caught it coming. There we go. But we're going to have an interesting final quarter. Looking at the goal scorers out there, the leading goal scorer out there for Hawthorn is the umpires with 5 goals. Not showing here because they won't allow it, but the umpires have kicked 5 goals for Hawthorn. Apart from that, Jack Gunston for the Hawks has got 2. Newcomb Lloyd Meeks got 1. Mackenzie McDonald, Mitch Lewis and Choles got 1. For the Magpies, Charlie West has got 2. Rowan Steele, Bo McCreary, Will Hayes, Nick Dacos, Angus Anderson and Ed Allen has a goal. Taking the Sunshine, these umpires would not even be worthy of umpiring the Sunshine football teams down there. They are an absolute disgrace. Leading disposal getter out on the ground is Nick Dacos, the Dacos brothers. Nick on 27 with 13 and 14 handballs, a clearance and 1 goal. Josh next best on 24. Ed Allen 22, Swaddling 21 with DeGoey, and Jarman Impey is the only Hawk in the 20s. He's on 20, 15 kicks, 5 handballs. There we go. He's a great player there for Hawthorn. James Sicily, he's probably the second most hated player in the competition behind the Mouth of the South. He's on 17. The Wizard 16. Tell you what, he's showing some electricity out there tonight, but he hasn't hit the scoreboard just yet. There we go. So if we go from him, we'll head on down there. Dan Houston, tell you what, he makes some errors for Collingwood. He really does make some bad decisions. 16 disposals. I wouldn't even mind if he got traded out of the Magpies. There we go. Josh Ward on 15 there for the Hawks. Scotty Pendlebury on 15. Let's go down the board a little bit more. Lockie Schultz, 13, no goals. Dylan Moore, no goals for 14 for the Hawks. Where is the most hated player in the competition, Jack Ginnivan, just 11 disposals. Hasn't hit the scoreboard. Geez, I tell you what, he's made some errors too. Jack Gunston, 2 goals, 3 for him. I'll tell you what, he does find some space. He found some space. He just sticks down there to the forward line. At one point, he was like 60 metres clear of any other player. But anyway, that is your stats. Yeah, that's it. We need to call Chopper to fix these umpires up. They're a disgrace. Let's hope they umpire fairly in the final quarter, and let's hope the best team wins on the night. First 2 quarters went to the Magpies. The third quarter went to the Hawks and the umpires. Let's see who the final quarter can go to. We'll head back down to the action now. For the final quarter, 3 points is the margin, and just letting you know at 6 minutes into the third quarter over there at Adelaide Oval, it's Melbourne 63, Port Adelaide 27, 36-point leaders over there to Melbourne. All right, that's enough for me. Let's head back down to the action. The Hawks go into the final term with a 3-point lead. What's going to happen? I don't know. Stick around. We'll find out.
Player that can go with him with leg speed. Big turn required for Bo if Collingwood are to win this game.
All set for a big finish. Been pretty tight all evening. Cameron tries to go off the ground. First goal, all important. Ward extracts it from the middle. Watson will stay down. Here he comes, Watson. He runs underneath it. Might not need to touch it. He lets it go through. And the Hawks with the opener in the first 17 seconds. Long range from Ward.
Toyota, oh, what a feeling. this moment here, well, couldn't have started any better from a Hawthorn point of view. We've seen a couple of goals tonight that have got over the back and just continued to roll on. There was the contest with Jack Gunston, no fingertips on it as well. And you think Nick Watson was going to be the man to kick that goal, but it just kept rolling
That's
as well.
gone 70 metres.
That is a massive goal.
At least.
That's the longest goal I've seen at the G for some time. And Watson does it beautifully. He teases Quainer, do you want to stay down with me and leave them one-on-one? Or do you want to go back and help and leave me to be the goal kicker? And in the end,
This is score review. The score is confirmed. You can restart
just
play.
a fraction late. So that's the two minds playing on a player like Nick Watson puts you in.
I just had to check. Nick Allen got a toenail to it. Cameron, one arm free, and the umpire deciding that wasn't enough. Okay. Experience whistleblower there, Brett Roseberry. Quickly up in the air, up and at it again. Newcombe restrained by Allen. Didn't blow it at all that time either. McKenzie with the hand off to Hardwick, just slugs it forward. Chol and Frampton. Frampton and Chol. Watson overran it. Swaddling. You could feel the breath in his neck. Back at it again is Watson with Quainer from the pocket. Now he was out, Gunston. The ball was in. And now it's going to be in the hands of the umpire.
Rucks, Collingwood ruck. Boyd, Darcy.
Dacos deep in defence. Ward has already kicked one in the turn. He's bent around the post. There's a lot of arms in the air. And Ward with the first two. And the Hawks get a 15-point margin in a short space of time.
He's becoming a player, isn't he, Josh Ward? We talked about that midfield in the pre-game, Howie. The best midfield combo in the competition right now at centre bounces is Day, Newcombe, Ward and Meek. And you wouldn't have said that 12 months ago. Could this guy elevate his game? They went after merit, they missed out, and this guy, I think, got the barb that he needed. And he's responded, and what a start for his fourth term. He's kicked both goals. One from 70 and one from 17.
Breakdown of communication there from Collingwood. Jordan McGoey free at that stoppage. His direct opponent, Josh Ward, standing free as well to pay the ultimate price.
A bit like Cam McKenzie, only had 4 goals coming in tonight. He's kicked a double already. Suddenly there's the gap and it's growing. In danger of blowing out. If you're a Collingwood fan, Cameron tries to send it forward. Good reach from Newcombe. Had to fight off Dacos. He got one high. Dacos can't believe it. Newcombe sends it forward. Sends it wide more. Was he interfered with? Yes. Things going Hawthorn's way for now. Collingwood have to try and dig in. No shortage of leads. More not convinced by any. Now he sees something he likes. Lewis sliding in.
Just a big pack, sort of 25 metres out, converging to try and get someone to lead out. Gunston was the first one. Here's the free kick in the middle of the ground. They probably both got each other high there. Newcombe, the ball carrier, paid the free kick, and here's the other one for the front on contact as well. But that pack just forms, and all of a sudden someone pops out, and it's Mitch Lewis.
Never reached 20 games before in a season. This is game 21 for Lewis. Extended his contract. Faith in him at Hawthorn. Faith that he can deliver when it matters. And it matters right now. And he delivers right now. 2 for Mitch in the second half. With that most Hawthorn of names. He's given them a 21-point lead.
He's a beautiful strike of the ball, isn't he? It's just a long, slow action. He's the Ernie Els of goal kicking. He just hits it nice and sweet. Hello.
Big easy.
He can hit the golf ball about as far as Ernie too.
It can.
Many heels.
Fantastic.
8 of the last 9 now for Hawthorn.
Well, they've won the last 6 centre-bounce clearances. They've won 8 of the last 10 out of the middle. That's where their dominance is coming from, and that's the reason why they sit where they do on the AFL table. So challenge right now for Collingwood to hold this momentum if they've got any shot in this game. 21 points. The time is now.
Hawthorn's biggest lead of the match. Collingwood led by 22 themselves after 5 unanswered in the second term. Meek at ground level. Newcombe awaits the clearance. Big Lloyd can't steam his way through.
Lloyd behind you, mate. Lloyd, Darcy, hold that meter.
In a good contest in the ruck. Watson whips it out wide. D'Ambrosio, who's got a long left foot, which he utilises. Mitch Lewis on the lead. Oh, hits the fence hard.
There's a lot of concrete there.
Looks to be okay.
That is such a good result. That could have been really scary.
He takes a breath around the MCG. He's had all sorts of injuries, but looks okay too.
Ducks back to the goal square. The ball might head that way any minute. Dacos though to Cameron. The other ideas and intentions. Schultz has got to fly from an awkward position, but see ball, get ball for little Lockie Schultz. Collingwood needs some run. Dacos provides it now. Swaddling pulls it back. There was some risk in the kick. He finds Steele. He's got runners on this side of the ground. Just a little bit too far away, so he handballs instead to Schultz. Coming hard and kicking deep for McStay. Can't mark West. McStay's gone down and got the free.
Yeah, just took his arm. Gee, I like Swaddling. I mean, again, he found an angle. And it was just a beautiful little chisel pass, 30 yards inboard.
It wouldn't be a James Sicily game if he didn't give away 50. So that's just fitting in a way in his 200.
Probably Tom Barras.
That's McStay kicks the goal and keeps Collingwood in the contest. You sure it wasn't?
No, it was Tom Barras. And Paul Mollison just confirming that there with James Sicily.
That's a tactic, though. That's an investment for the Monday meeting, that one. Just making sure from the umpire, can you say into your microphone it wasn't me, so that when Mitch comes to me on Monday, it's your version, not mine.
There's a good build-up there from Collingwood, though. That little handball into Lockie Schultz.
There's the point. There's the point from Barras at the umpire. Nice one, Jack.
So Collingwood respond as they seem to always do. Back to a more manageable 15 points.
It is a little bit disappointing it wasn't Sicily.
Yeah.
McCreary breaks the tackle. Kingy's man to Nick Dacos. He'll hit 50, Nick. The crowd waits as Dacos sets sail.
Wow. Well, it would have been the moment there where they would charge right back into contention, but positive signs for Collingwood. A couple of good forays forward. Nice set of bounce win.
Not giving in yet. Hardwick gives it plenty to the wing. Houston has competitive and combative. McKenzie. They've kicked 8 of the last 9 goals before that one. Oh, he couldn't find a way out. Day tries to throw it around the footy. Right down in front of us here. Members half forward flank. Punt road end of a packed MCG. Dacos confused them all, pulled it out the back, and look at the dimensions on the kick, either of the two pies. And it was Houston who takes the mark. And this is something that he has not been able to really give them this year. In his name as a dashing half-back flank, beautiful long kick of the footy, who would regularly get forward for Port Adelaide and kick long goals. He's done it after the siren here at the MCG. We're not quite there yet, but has that sort of gravity on the kick. 2 goals, 9 for the year. Time for Dan Houston to bring out one of his best. It's long, and most importantly, it is straight. A Houston special, and the margin is back to 8.
Well, that is an extraordinary kick. 2 goals, 4 from outside 50 coming into this evening's game. That kick from Dacos and the vision is what separates him.
Kingy, we so often talk about the number of disposals he has, but it's quality of disposals as well. You get you both ways.
Yeah, and finds a way to get himself out of traffic first. So one of the great challenges inside to out, he does it with feet and leg drive. And then his vision, his preparedness to go for those kicks. Yet he misses a few. See, when he hits, Collingwood score.
Collingwood with the last 2 to provide us again with a tight one, the one we want. McStay inches it forward to Goey. McCreary to make it 3 in a row. It's low, it's searching. Barras has got it. McStay stuck out of hand like Spider-Man and pulled it in. should be back to 2 points.
The one Duke.
It stuck.
Did McStick. Dan McStay, one of the highlights of the night. In the blink of an eye, Hawthorn skipped away. In the blink of an eye, Collingwood come back. McStay with some absolute brilliance. And it is a 2-point game at the G.
And again, they're now running aggressive patterns, Collingwood. They're chasing the game. This is when they're dangerous. So you see the centre bounce clearance, and it's just surging forward because they're going to charge forward. It's McCreery that time, but they're all charging. I think he was having a shot. Not going to give him the credit. Stuck the Duke out and found a way to get back onto the footy, but they are charging from centre bounce. Now you're back to 2 points. Do you continue with that method, or do you go into a more conventional setup?
Proactive, but I think also ahead of the ball, you see the McStay one there, just gets the glove in, obviously takes the mark to go in front too. So if you're going to come out the front and you're going to be proactive, you've got to make sure you're playing in front. There's Dan McStay since round 17, the best key forward in the comp.
Playing career best footy. Meek back to Newcomb. It's hard to stop him. Handball forward though. McCreery can almost hit a thump into the turf from here. So the 3 goals kicked, answered immediately. We've played 12 minutes, but only 5 have elapsed. There is a long time to go in this one.
Had those 6 goals in those 5 minutes as well. So
we spoke about McCreery. He's the one. He's lifted in there.
Yeah, up around the footy again. To go, he feeds it out to him. Battle was waiting. Nick with the left hand. Newcomb. No getting out this time from Jai.
Hawthorn got out to 21 points after the Lewis goal. And then Collingwood respond as they do with the next 3. And full-chested as Noah Howes in his second game. Sputs it out wide in front of the Shane Warne stand. Harrison's got the runner. Impressive swaddling, gives it to him. Collingwood load up again. Amon comes back with courage in the flight. Barras, clean bowl bite. Collingwood press again. Snapping round the corner. It's another one for the Pies. And it's a second one for that young man, Willie Hayes. And Collingwood take the lead again.
Crazy.
He just does the right thing every time, Swaddling. I've really been taken by his game. That is a beautiful kick inside 5th that Amon just could barely get a glove on. And that is another quality finish. It's a shootout, the MCG, and we love it.
7 goals this quarter. They left Swaddling out of the team a few weeks ago, and a few Collingwood fans weren't too happy with it. You can see why.
He's having a terrific night, just biting off risk.
He's an old-fashioned goal seek, isn't he? There's Hayes. 2 for Hayes, 2 for West. That'll excite Collingwood fans. The youngsters that have been called upon the time of need. And the veterans rise again. McCreery, it is a thumping kick, but it's not a straight one this time. Gee, the swings in this game.
That's the thing. You also get 6v6. That's where the swings are coming from.
What about the underground handball to get that going? He's starting to feel it, McCreery.
You picked him as the man to lift. What was it about him?
He's just got speed. He's got matchups he can enjoy. And you just see him burst from traffic. There's not many can go with him out there tonight.
Static down the line now for the Hawks. He provides the short option. Ginnivan decides to go longer. Beattie outsize. The Hawks bring it to ground. Watson, can he provide some spark? Puts it out in the path for Lewis. Gunston comes up at him. Lewis took the bounce, so wasn't watching what was going on. Gets it forward now to Beattie. Little chipper is good. John Moore, who squared it up after the siren last time.
First game of Beattie there, doesn't lose his head. Obviously, in this last quarter here, the pressure on, it's been high scoring, but he's the one that just lowered his eyes there. They've easily blazed away, had other options. Just did the fundamentals here. 15 metres, that's all it needs to be.
19 goals for the season before tonight for Dylan Moore from a tight angle. It's going to drift across the face. It did shape back. Big pack mark in the across the line by Gunston.
Oh, so delicate. And the tension great around the MCG. Dan Houston searching for the right kick, the right target. Interesting call. He's gone to a host of tall hawks. Toll takes it and casually drives for Gunston. Puncher.
Well done. Well done. He made up ground there. He was in no man's land. Knuckled down to just get there. Well done. Shocking kick out from Houston. Kicked a 1 on 4.
Yeah, crazy. Very nice, David. Knuckling down there, Puncher.
Thank you. Anthony.
On its way back again. Cameron. Couple of goes at it. No exit that time.
I think importantly though, this is now Hawthorn's chance to lock it in there. Forward 50 in their forward half. Collingwood had it and were able to get a goal. Now it's Hawthorn's chance.
Joel on the ruck, long. Out to Swadling. Left foot exit. Impey has to wait. Schultz went really early. Weddle delayed the hand pass, maybe too long. Comes out to Newcomb, hot footy to be won. Schultz provides the pressure. Sicily just stands over, tries to trap it underneath himself.
Good girl there, Sicily. Got sold a lemon by Newcomb. He just didn't want to cough it up, didn't want to fall on the ball. So he sort of trapped it with his hand to make sure that he didn't commit to it.
Fans just sort of replayed the Newcomb disposal. McKenzie, was he taken high? No.
You got Darcy again?
He's quiet again. Crowd riding each and every contest. Day straight into Anderson. Just 4 points between them. All the Hawks' talls are ready and waiting. If it goes their way, McKenzie trying to wrench clear. Take on Sears, it let him go. Keeping our cameraman alert down there.
They've won 6 of the last 7 clearances, Collingwood. That's the shift.
It's been a game of momentum swings. 5 in a row for Collingwood, 5 in a row for Hawthorn, and 3 to start to turn the Hawks. Next 4 for the Pies. Pendlebury, classy as always. Swadling goes back. Wasn't happy to go interior, sends it down the line. Schultz stands underneath it. Hardwick with a big spoil, sees it to safety.
Darcy Cameron comes off. Second ruck, McStay goes on.
Pies trying to make it 8 wins out of 9. Some had written off the season, but not Craig McRae and Collingwood. McStay gives it off to Pendlebury, looking for a mate. It was a bit of a wild and woolly handball. Well handled by Impey. Newcomb ran into an obstacle, found a way through. McKenzie to Sicily. Here's the dash of Impey, about to be hunted. Quick release kick. Battle's coming on way. Lewis as well. Traps it to Big Mitch. 60 from goal. Chol in the square. Marbior Chol. Not quite. BT with a beauty. Oh, what a way to start your AFL career.
We spoke about the Wizard Watson getting to the right spots. It was a great effort from Marbior Chol on the goal line. And you want to see that fight from Marbior Chol just to bring it to the front. Didn't need to take the mark. It was 1v2. Obviously had his opponent there. And once again, it's Quaynor that committed to the front. Left his man Beattie. And he was the one that finished it. And gets the round of applause.
Sometimes the bravery starts at selection. But this is a hot game. Huge ramifications to the Hawthorn season, and you bring in a debutant and he repays you like that. Well done, young man.
Playing at Woodville, West Torrens, now playing in front of 80,000 in a vital game and kicking a goal to put his team in front. And live later, Hawthorn back to third. That's how tight it is. Beattie enters the fray. Quaynor's got Watson. He'll know he's there. Happy to run away from him. Good usage to the marathon man. Chris plays on past Sicily, a bit off the instep. Here's a ball. Ward kicked the opening 2 of the term. Back by hand. Impey clean. Aim on. Important kick. Doesn't go down the middle. Lewis will come from behind alongside Watson. McKenzie rides the tackle, spits it out. Ginnivan, nice little step. Squeezes it wide. D'Ambrosio waits and takes it. He's a long kick. Wants to go on with it with something delicate round the corner. It was quite excellent. Dylan Moore. Big kick.
More challenging Swaddling at the moment. More coming to stoppage. Swaddling's the one that's sitting back as that sort of track and catch quarterback style player. And then getting him going forward.
Different end of the ground, Howie, but pretty similar kind of position.
He was the 8th player in the history of the game to draw a game after the siren when these sides met in round 8. Dylan Moore, big kick. Dylan Moore, magnificent kick. Now it's the Hawks with 2 in a row.
Just moments. Composure. We saw Chris play on, left foot out the boundary, doesn't quite nail the kick, puts it back into chaos. You pay a price. Ginnivan just has the uncanny knack of knowing what's around him, assesses the space beautifully, steps back. It just looks really simple at the end, but this is under high pressure. This here from Jack. Just watch him here, he knows what's coming back. Lets Dacos fly by, and then just knows that he's got the right man out to the side. Short pass from Moore, and then their high-quality half forwards just coming to the fore right now.
And the momentum swings continue. Hawks with the last 2. Get back to work. Newcomb digging in out of the middle. Shut straight down by McStay. Chris gets a run at it, but matched by Sicily, who stays on his feet. Careful with how he uses it, but the bounce made it so awkward for him. He just gets fell to the ground by Harrison. Dacos already sending it to Chris. Options on the inside. It just got a little deep for West. Still alive. Barris is just holding on for dear life. And the big man does the job required. We're down to 9 tense minutes left in this one. Packed MCG. Tense MCG. Meek to the outside. Pies everywhere. Harrison.
Yeah, no left.
What you would call a low percentage shot. He's missed the left.
Left foot there for Harvey Harrison. Needing to pop that one to the top of the goal square, at least have a better shot.
Came on from the depths of defence. Looks for distance. Charles the flyer. Good grab by Marbior.
That's what they've wanted from him. Just a contest. That's a moment for that critical member of this forward 6.
He wants the same from Mitch Lewis now, who's got Billy for company. Here comes Lloyd from the side. McKenzie, perfectly positioned. Loops it over the top. Newcomb punches it forward, only as far as Quaynor. Dacos back to Quaynor. Big moments in this game of football. Big moments in this season. Chris goes long. Impey will stand, knowing the big boys are coming. Barris provided the shepherd. Harrison the tackle. It's off the boot of Houston.
A bit of a standoff there. Neither of them wanted to go for the ball, worried about that boundary line.
Controlled by Battle. Joel Cauthious, drop it in the space. He goes to Meek and Lewis, so no shortage of timber there for the Hawks off hands. So it's up to Collingwood once again to try and bridge this gap. Sam Mitchell's team not responding to their biggest loss of the year in the first half, but different story in the second. Hawthorn fans trying to play their part. Cameron to the front. Chris, ball locks on. Awkward from Morrison, legs taken out. Found a way to get a kick forward. Cameron was the block. Back to Josh Dacos. Just sets it up and all in hope. Good fly from West, matched by Battle. Anderson, Membry, Houston, goes for goal. It's fallen short and wide.
Who can stand up for their side? It's what we love about the footy. Deep on a Saturday night and all still to play for. Chol uses the body, second contested to Watson. Dacos provides the coverage. Gunston will try and get his man under the ball. Did everything but take the mark. Josh Dacos butters up. Now Anderson spins to the middle. Swaddling. Socks half up. Chips it forward to Nick Dacos. Watch what he does. Hawthorn defence on red alert for something special from Nick. Elects to spread it wide. Quaynor now with the responsibility. Off a step.
Stays pushed forward here.
Houston's got the leg.
Got to take it. He's got to take the shot. He's had a couple of good looks tonight. flushed one that cleared the defence. This is why they got this man to the football club.
Kicked a big goal this term, missed a couple. Houston, the number 9, every eye on the MCG on him, drifts out to the right, gets the distance easily, never had the accuracy. And the Hawks look to fight again. One goal margin, Dylan Moore.
The goal difference.
Quickly got to 6.5 remaining. Battle. Straining every sinew now on every kick. Frampton, his big frame, swaddling, batters it back. Here's the McCreary tackle. I'll go again. Player doubling down. 6-17. 91 playing 85. They whack away. Cameron Allen may be taken high. When unseen, McCreary just blasting through. And has he got the touch? Almost for Anderson. Knocks it forward. They creep a little closer. Ask a few more questions of this Hawthorn defence. They look a bit frazzled right now. Allen, Harrison, they were one handball away. Moore digs in. Hawks dig in. They hope for the best. They try and clear it. They don't completely. Dacos digs in now. Collingwood along the line. The line is fine. And it's over.
Got to be diligent at this 450 stoppage. If you're Hawthorn, make sure you're numbered off. McCreary's been sliding around the boundary. Had a couple of good looks. He's sitting off the back of this stoppage.
Meek and Cameron. Harrison burst through, lost the football. Meek, battle, doesn't want to concede. Newcomb's going to be pressured and dug into the synthetic turf.
Jack Chris, the one, he's getting lots of space at these stoppages. They're not going near him.
Down to 5.5 now.
Dacos is free.
Oh, he's quiet. But it'll just take one kick for that to change. Cameron, Dacos came through without the ball. McCreary, Harrison, Moore ready for him. Allen just threw it out. Anything goes. Dacos, can he work his way through this? Eyes to the pocket. And Steele, Rome Steele has taken the mark.
Just doesn't need a rush here. Maybe needs a senior player to go over and tell him to take a breath. It's like I'm stretching a little bit too. Potential cramp.
And the young man has already kicked a goal. Missed a couple as well. Keeps focus. And executes like a veteran. And wouldn't you know it, scores are level. And we're down to 4 minutes 40. We can't split them.
They've scored 9 times from 10 entries this quarter, Collingwood, getting repeat opportunities with stoppages. And McCreary is the man. He's getting involved in everything and charging from stoppage. So he's the one in at centre bounce again. Just working out which way they're going, which quartet they're going to roll with. Right now, the challenge goes back to the midfield of the Hawks, who've been so good in bursts tonight. There's McCreary's going in. Yep, Allen's still going with Newcomb. There's his quarter forward. You can see it's just been unbelievable.
Importantly, Pendlebury on the ground for Collingwood too.
Back where we started, all the way back at 7:30. Ward stripped to the football. D'Ambrosio on the left, spins it around the corner to Dylan Moore. He's got a step or two on Josh Dacos. Waits now for the leads to come. Happy to drop it back. Newcomb fends off. Steele, Gunston, probably too far out. He'll take his very best. He realises that Gunston plays on, gets round swaddling, runs out of room, doesn't get full purchase. It's a point, but it's the lead.
Plenty of time. Yep. Don't need to smash it down the middle just yet.
The Dacoses are in it deep, which means they're a long way from goal. To Pendlebury, so the experienced hands to avert the immediate danger. And now over on else has to join in. Swaddling. Both teams only have one more interchange left. 3 minutes 39, and McStay imposes himself again. Collingwood trail by 1. Can he reach to go? He can.
Great kick.
He wants to find a compromise kick. He finds Dacos, who delivered. There's Hawks everywhere. Back there, Battle. Takes the mark when he had to. 3:19 now. How will Hawthorn handle it? They have possession of the footy, but their lead is as slender as possible. Just 1 point in it.
Marmio's charging. He's the target.
He's taken 2 contested marks for the turn. Chol, he's got the big ruckman to beat. Brings it to ground. Favours Morrison. Lewis at ground level. Immediately stymied. Chol now with the tackle. Stacks on. 2:53. Hawthorn leader by a point.
So it's only 1 to the tackle now. If you're Collingwood, you've got to make sure this ball can get out in open space. Stoppage is your worst option.
Next tap. And then Allen is immediately constrained. 2:48. Any method possible. Handhandled potentially Nick Dacos. It goes unwhistled again. 2:41 now.
Can you set up someone off the back of the stoppage just to flip it over the back of the rucks there and get on the flight? Swaddling's the player that could be.
One of those nights for biting the nails and hoping for your team. Meek and Cameron. Chris can't get away from Meek. Swaddling gets away from McDonald. Penalty clean. Did the tackle drift high? It did.
And he's the one, Pendles, that's been creeping forward. Lucky to get that one. They'll work for one opportunity here. Patience.
Dacos is on the wing. Ward's patrolling his space. It's a big job for Ward. Dacos starts to drift forward. Pendlebury has got a short option in Josh Dacos.
They'll work this to the top of the arc and try and find one long-range opportunity.
With 2 minutes on the clock, 1 point between them. Needs the big mark. And the mark is nearly taken. Hawthorn followed out of defence in a hurry. McCreary, the ball hangs. And the mark is taken. No score. Kick needs to be good. Now can Hawthorn hold on for 1:43?
It must have felt like an eternity as it hung in the air for Amon. And maintain possession.
Have to man up here if you're Collingwood. Got to find a man.
Hawthorn fans, half an eye on the play, half an hour on the clock. 1:30 to go. Collingwood, here's big bad Billy Frampton. Takes the mark, Mustat's twitching. Sends it into the middle. Chris, long on the kick. High, hopes are high. At the back battle. It took a west turn. Into the goal square. Still, it's got through. It's level again.
He tried over the head, Hutto. Tried the bicycle.
Well, live ladder's blown up. The live ladder's put the Hawks back to 4th. Impey escaped without too much friction coming his way. Now Hawthorn have possession, a minute on the clock. They massage it, they get a chance. Morrison streams forward. Meek doesn't know it's coming his way and misses the lasso. The biggest one of the season.
Quickly into Allen. 46 seconds. He goes, it's all Hawthorn back there. Hardwick, a safe pair of hands. And that's what Hawthorn can do if they maintain possession. And Ambrosio long on the kick to Gunston. Surely from here, they can see out the 30. The kick is
Who is writing the script between these two sides?
Unbelievably, the ball is going to be in the same hands as it was back in round 8. It's a different scenario. Scores are level. Hawthorn are 4th.
Don't go off your line.
Dylan Moore. Any score is a winning score. We still wait. It's short. It is a draw. As close as you can get. No one knows how to feel.
Dylan wanted just a tiny bit more.
Another draw between those two teams.
We just needed a teammate to fist it through.
Yeah, well,
that's all he needed.
because if the siren hadn't sounded, then exactly.
You feel for him. You always want the guy left with the footy to create the victory. But what a game.
Lightning strikes twice at the MCG.
There's a siren involved.
Swaddling was the player that did it. Look at Sam Swaddling. He's the one. He saved it.
He's had a night.
Oh, well done.
So the Hawks are fourth. They get something out of the game. And everyone is stunned.
What do you say?
We're stunned.
Round 8, Dylan Moore after the siren draw. Round 8, Dylan Moore doesn't score. McRae's trying to get his boys up. He's taking it as a win.
All of a sudden, percentage matters again for Hawthorn.
Well, this is Craig McRae to a T. Think like winners. Remember they laid on the ground 18 months ago and he said, no, behave like a winner. Moves.
Well, Sis, Hutto just said lightning strikes twice. Who would have thought that was an unbelievable finish? How you feeling?
Yeah, same bloke again, Maury. Oh, that was bloody loud, man. Yeah. Collingwood were really good tonight. They bounced so well off half-back and they really challenged us with their speed, but I thought we played much better footy after half-time and, yeah, bizarre. I think a draw's all right for us, but obviously we'd like to win, yeah.
I think you're still sitting in the top 4. You've lost third spot, but you're sitting in the 4. Were you riding that kick home with Maury?
Yeah, well, I thought it was in and must have been a big gust of breeze or something. Yeah, flat, but doesn't matter. That was a cracking game of footy and yeah, thanks for all the members that turned down. We just broke a record, 90,000, so good turnout, but sorry we couldn't get the win.
What was the change in the second half?
Too handball happy, and that invites the pressure. We just need to embrace territory and the contest a bit more, and thought I actually led that pretty poorly tonight, so we need to get better at that. But yeah, we just embrace the contest. Forwards looked really dangerous tonight for the amount of inside 50s we had, so yeah, got to work.
I know it's not the way you want to spend your 200th, but 200 games still must be a very proud moment for you.
Yeah, I'm happy it's sort of over with, to be honest. It was a bit of a tough week, making it all about me, and I didn't really feel that comfortable, so hopefully have a better 201st game. But yeah, it's good.
Oh, mate, go and I don't know what to say. Go and enjoy it, go and just relax, and good luck next week, mate.
The rules are all important in these situations, David.
Yeah, well, my man Ray Chamberlain, he wasn't my man for a while, but he is now.
He wasn't my man for a bit too.
If Collingwood had fisted that through up as the siren was going, or just after, as the ball was in flight, the score would count.
Yes, if Collingwood does it, but not if Hawthorn does it.
Yes, so if Hawthorn did it, no score.
No score, yeah.
It was well played by the young fella.
Cameron Mooney, we're still a bit stunned up here, big boy.
Yeah, got Nick down here. Nick, you just said then that game was ping-pong. It was just going back and forth.
Yeah, absolutely. Hawthorn moved the ball so well, and I thought our defence was really strong.
But that kick home with more, what were you thinking?
Yeah, to be honest, I was hoping it would sort of fade. And then I think it was Swaddling. Had an amazing game tonight and got the spoil in, so it's huge. And I think now percentage matters for us again, funny enough.
What was the change in that second half? The first half you guys were irresistible. What happened in the third quarter in particular?
Yeah, not too sure. I feel like we went into our shells a little bit. We've been big on being aggressive, but at the same time, Hawthorn are a proud outfit. They're such a good side. They're going to get on a run, and even at the start of last quarter, it was really important we weathered the storm.
All right, Nick, I'll let you go, mate. Congratulations, brother.
And that's the first time we have ever had a draw back-to-back between the same two teams in the same season. So that is just extraordinary. As Nick alluded to, percentage now matters, but particularly for Hawthorn, as they're in that fight. But they are still in the double chance. They have West Coast next week, so they win, and they should be able to maintain the double chance. So it's 93 all back in round 8, with 92 all tonight. Extraordinary. So much to look back on. We'll do that next.
Watching Super Saturday.
All right, there we go. Look, it ended up in a draw. I tell you what, yeah, the Hawks will be a little bit sad. The umpires will be sad. The AFL will be sad. The bookmakers will be sad because the umpires were definitely on the take I said to James Sicily, what was the change after half-time? Well, the umpires were the change. It was the most disgraceful umpiring you'll ever see. The third quarter and 10 minutes into the fourth quarter where the umpires gave every conceivable decision to Hawthorn blatantly when it wasn't there. But there we go. As I said, it was a fantastic game when the umpires weren't involved. Look, a draw's okay. Look, the Pies should have won that game without the umpires, but look, a draw's okay. In front of a massive crowd there tonight. It was an exciting game to watch. It was a bit of a nail-biter on both teams. As Nick said, the percentage for the Pies now being back on equal points with the rest of the comp, a little bit like Hawthorn, because they both had incredible to have a draw twice in the one season between Hawthorn and Collingwood. But there we go. Addy G, all you can do is hope that you play Hawthorn in the first final, because I'm tipping Freo will absolutely smash Hawthorn in the first, especially over there. I don't think the umpires will be as biased and on the take as they were tonight. But there we go. Hey, let's just have a little bit. That's my 2 cents, folks. Being a Collingwood supporter, maybe I'm a little bit biased, but that's my take. And I think that's how everyone who actually could see the game would see the blatant disgrace of the umpires in that second quarter and 10 minutes into the third quarter. After that, after 10 minutes into the third quarter, the umpires sort of umpired more respectably, and the game was really on. It was really hot, and it was the team's own brilliance that did what they did and ended up in a draw. There we go. Goal scorers for the night in this draw. Charlie West from the Magpies got 2. Rowan Steele got 2. Dan McStay and William Hayes got 2. Bo McCreary ended up with 1. Dan Houston with 1. Dacos Nick got 1. Angus Anderson got 1. Ed Allen for the Hawks. Josh Ward got 2, Mitchie Lewis got 2, and Jack Gunston 2. Singles to John Newcomb, Dylan Moore, Lloyd Meek, Cam McKenzie, Connor McDonald got 1, Mould Child, Max Beattie. Tell you what, there was a lot of goal scorers out there. Exactly right. They couldn't see it, and they don't want. Let's have a look at the disposal getters. Of course, leading the way is the Brownlow medalist of 2026. That's Nick Dacos, 36 touches, 1 goal, 18 kicks, 18 handballs, 2 clearances. His brother Josh on 30. They were the only 2 players in 30 and above. Of course, Sam Swaddling, 29, Ed Allen, 28. Best for the Hawks was Jarman Impey, who puts in, week out, Jarman Impey. He's a star player for the Hawks. 25 touches, 17 kicks, 8 handballs. A clearance, just the one behind for him. John Newcomb on 24. DeGoey, reasonably good tonight. Bo McCreary had a great game tonight, 23 and 22. Dan Houston kicked a nice goal, makes bad decisions. I tell you what, I can't remember the player with about a minute to go from the Collingwood side that ran off the back line, didn't handball it to Nick Dacos, and just kicked it to 3 Hawthorn players on the 50 for Collingwood. Could have been a young player. I just can't quite spot him out. But there we go. Ended up in a draw. Nick Watson, there we go. Is electrifying. Nick Watson had 20 touches, 10 and 10. Didn't hit the scoreboard. So probably it was probably a win to the Magpie tagger there, even though Nick had 20. So it was a good job. Josh Ward had 20. Scotty Pendlebury had 20 for the Pies. Harry Morrison, 20 also with Josh Battle. James Sicily, one of the biggest crybabies in the AFL. He cries and whinges about everything and abuses the umpires. He had 19. Dylan Moore, the shot after was it Callum Ward? Dylan Moore, I think. There we go, 19 touches. Let's just quickly roll on down there. Dan McStay, 16. Just roll on down. We'll get back to the commentators and they'll just have a little bit of a chin wag. Hopefully they're not too biased on either side. It'd be really good if they could pinpoint the umpires' bad umpiring there. Actually, before we do that, just I just load the live ladder up for everyone who's stuck in there, thanks to the 100 and so plus people. For Hawthorn, what that means, well, they do jump back up jump in front of Melbourne again, put them in the top 4. For them, of course, Melbourne, let me just have a quick gander at the score over there. Melbourne, 13 minutes into the final quarter, 17-9-111. They lead Port Adelaide 7-7-49. It's the Demons by 62 points over there. at Adelaide Oval. So Hawthorn still in the top 4, and for Collingwood, of course, 52 points, only a game outside of the top 6, but I think that's unreachable. Their percentage is way too low, but I think the Magpies, well, there we go. They'll end up either 8th or 9th. So there we go. After next week, I think Collingwood play Brisbane next week. So there we go. Look, Hawthorn, Melbourne, Geelong will all be hoping that Collingwood can beat Brisbane there at the MCG. I think that is, but we'll have to wait and see for that game. We certainly don't want to do Hawthorn any favours because we would love to. I don't know, who would Hawthorn like to play in the first final if they make top 4? Freo or Sydney? I think Freo, because I don't think I really can't see how they can beat Freo. There we go. But let me just have a little bit of a look. I'll put that score back up for latecomers coming on in. I just want to have a little bit of a gander at... let me just have a look at the fixture for next week, the next two. As I said, I think Hawthorn play Richmond next... No, Hawthorn play West Coast Eagles over in Optus Stadium there in Perth. So there we go. You just never know. West Coast can do some strange things over there, but I think Hawthorn might be a little bit too good for West Coast over there. And of course, it's going to be another tough match against Brisbane Lions at the MCG for the Magpies next Friday night football. But you know what? You just got to keep trugging along and keep winning game after game. It's all finals. All the top teams are all playing good football. You've got to come along with them and do your best. So. Look, it probably doesn't matter about next week for the Magpies, win or lose, but it does for Brisbane and it does for Hawthorn. So there we go, and it certainly does for other teams like Geelong. Geelong will have a big win over Richmond, of course, next week. Geelong will win next week over Richmond. You can just about put that in the bank. So there we go. If Hawthorn end up losing next week, which is hard to see, they'll probably drop down into 6th, possibly 7th. If they lose next week, even though they're sitting 4th. Of course, Adelaide play the Giants next week. So we've got some ring-a-ding-ding games coming up next week. There we go. Both teams would take the 2 points. I think the one thing for the Magpies, though, the Magpies needed to win tonight to have a chance at top 6. If they had won, they would have been sitting on 54. So that means if 54, that means if Geelong and Adelaide had lost, they would have jumped up, but I can't see that happening anyway. But it was probably more important that Hawthorn got, it was more important that Hawthorn got the 2 points at least, because if Hawthorn didn't get the 2 points, it would be very hard to see Hawthorn making top 4. There we go. So thanks to the umpires, of course, they obviously want... Melbourne teams in there up and above. They got Hawthorn the draw because the umpires. All these goals here. All these goals were from terrible decisions from the umpire who were on the payroll, and these decisions here. So that got Hawthorn back in the game, whereas the Magpies had them on toast up until that stage. But there we go. Nothing much we can do now. It's game, set, match. It's a draw, Manny. Hey, Stephen, how you going? They bottled it. What do you mean they bottled it, Hawthorn? They bottled it. I don't know whether they didn't give it up. The umpires got Hawthorn back into the game. There's no doubt about that. But as I said, when the umpires weren't involved, it was a great battle between these two teams, just like we thought they would. Hey, Paul, what's happening? Yeah, I know, another draw. Can you believe it? 2 draws. It'd be interesting to go back through the history books and see when 2 teams had 2 draws in the 1 year. I don't know whether we'd see that before. Captain Sporty Pants, how you going? Thanks for dropping on in. Beep Beep said hi. How you doing? And of course, we can't show the vision because that's copyright, unfortunately, or else I'd show it. Meaning they were winning at the end, then blew it. Well, true. Scores were level at the end. Yeah, scores were level at the end. He just didn't quite kick the distance. he didn't quite kick the distance. I think he kicked from about 47 metres out, just didn't quite kick the distance. So there we go. Look, it was probably a fitting result the way the game was played tonight for both teams. There we go. So no team can be upset. Look, it's okay. I think the Hawks got away with 2 points in this game tonight, but there we go. That's footy. It's footy, and that's the way it goes. But only 1 week left. Only 1 week left of football. Of course, we've got some games coming up tomorrow. Still got 3 games to round out. Round 23, of course, those games, the GWS Giants taking on the West Coast Eagles at any stadium. That's a 1:40 p.m. Melbourne time start. The Giants and the Eagles, of course, another fascinating game here. Let me just put it back on here. We've got the Western Bulldogs taking on Carlton. All the St Kilda fans, they will be sitting there on their couches watching that, cheering for the Bulldogs. Of course, the Saints fans still mathematically possible. They can get into the top 10, but the Bulldogs taking on Carlton at Marvel Stadium, 3:15 p.m. Melbourne time. And of course, the last game tomorrow is Essendon and Sydney Swans. There we go. Sometimes Essendon can bring it, sometimes they're not, but I think Sydney this time will put it to Essendon and come away with a good victory. That's at the MCG at 4:40 p.m. tomorrow, and they are the final games for this round. Of course, don't forget, the last round of the home and away seasonal kicks off next Thursday evening. St Kilda and the Gold Coast Suns at Marvel Stadium. Of course, next Friday night, you got Collingwood and the Brisbane Lions at the MCG. On Saturday, Carlton and the Fremantle Dockers at Marvel Stadium. Melbourne taking on the Western Bulldogs. That's going to be a fascinating game at the MCG. Geelong to have a big win over Richmond at GMHBA Stadium. And of course, Saturday night, Adelaide Crows take on the Giants at home at Adelaide Oval. Should be a victory for Adelaide. Of course, Sunday, 3 more games Sunday week to round out the last game of the home and away season. Essendon and Port Adelaide, which is a non-factor event. Sydney North Melbourne, which would be an interesting game at the SCG. And of course, West Coast Eagles and Hawthorn at Optus Stadium. And then in Perth, where everyone will be cheering on West Coast over there, Manny. Carlton to lose 2 games. I tell you what, it could be looking like that, isn't it? It could be looking like that. Yet, look, you just never know. As good as they're gone, yeah, look, the Western Bulldogs, they've got a lot to play for. They've got a lot to play for. I think the Western Bulldogs play Carlton, that's right, tomorrow. Who was the other one? What was the other game? That's right, Carlton played Freo. You would think, even at Marvel Stadium, you'd think the Dockers would be too strong for Carlton. You would at least hope, if you're a Dockers fans, that they can put Carlton to bed quite easily in that game. The Blues suck. Yeah, look, you know, I don't mind the Blues too much. There's worse teams out there. I'm not a fan of, but look, I think it's just a shame for Paddy Cripps. For Carlton, look, he's not going to reach the high levels. A little bit like Buckley with Collingwood. Star players that probably just won't get there. It would, you know what, the best thing for Paddy Cripps would have been for Carlton to just continue on their horror way and then, you know, trade himself out at the end of the season, but it probably just won't happen. But the umpires stopped giving them, the umpires stopped giving them frees. They stopped interfering, and it made the game a real game after that. And of course, you can see that final quarter, the umpires' decisions pretty much gave Hawthorn those first 3 games, and then the umpires said, "Okay, that's enough. Let's let them play without giving Hawthorn any more of these disgraceful free kicks that they got, or else it'll look too obvious." But unfortunately, it did look too obvious the entire way through that the third quarter, and 10 minutes into the third. And of course, you see the Magpies got back. Of course, these 2 goals, look, they were probably goals earned by Hawthorn there. That's all right. They did earn some. Trade him to Collingwood. I'll tell you what, he'd be all right. He'd be all right at the Pies. I'll trade him. I'll bring him in and I'll get rid of Dan Houston. Dan Houston, although he kicked that nice goal from like 52 metres, I tell you what, he makes some really bad decisions at times, Dan Houston. Look, I don't know what he's doing half the time. But there we go. We've got what we're stuck with. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting next season with the Magpies. It sounds like they might be bringing in Lachie Neale from Brisbane. That'll be interesting. Of course, they'll free up a little bit of salary cap with still Sidebottom going. I don't think Lachie Neale will be on that big of money. You'll probably get a 1-year contract, maybe 2. So it should be interesting with him. But it'll also be good when we get a couple of our players back. I would have just loved to have seen Jamie Elliott play tonight. You know what? I think the back, as young as the back line were for Collingwood this evening, I think they did an outstanding job holding the star forwards of Hawthorn to minimal goals there. And like the Wizard didn't even kick a goal. Chol was kept to about 1, I think. Gunston to a couple. So it was a fantastic effort. But I tell you what, if the thing to stop Hawthorn, you got to put pressure on them. You just got to put the pressure on them, and you just got to stop that running game of Hawthorn. Brisbane showed it last week. They did it. The Magpies showed it in the opening half. That's how you do it. But Hawthorn got their running game going. Even though they did have decisions from the umpires, Hawthorn did actually get their running game going. Fantastic. And they created incredible space. They created for themselves, which sort of got them a little bit up and about as well. So there we go. It's getting a player from Port Adelaide. I don't know where Butters is going. Butters would be a pretty good player to pick up next year. I don't know whether they're talking. I don't know where they're talking. I know Jack Rivold said, he'll probably go to Richmond through trades. Would be a better trade option than to go to Richmond. Be more value for Port Adelaide. But I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be interesting to see who comes and goes. But still, we're a few games away before this season comes to a close. As I said, we've still got 3 games tomorrow. We've got a full round of home and away season still to come. The last one next week, and then it's finals action where some of the good teams will be starting to battle each other. I'll tell you what, it's going to really start and ramp up. I tell you what, I need to go and get a drink, folks. Hey, look, it's a little bit interesting how you feel with the draw. It's you're not really sad, but you're not really over happy. I think you know what. As I said, I think Hawthorn will be just happy they got the 2 points, and those are 2 valuable points, which actually keeps them sitting in the top 4. So could have been really. We're getting McGuan. I was thinking you were thinking Mickey McGuan. McGuan. Who's McGuan? Who's the one you're talking about? Yeah, Houston's decisions. He can kick a ball a mile, but his son. That'll be interesting. Wowee. You know, that's one thing I haven't kept up to date with. That's the VFL. I used to go to the VFL and watch the Magpies a lot when I was living a little bit closer to Melbourne. It was a little bit easier to get there, but I haven't kept up with the reserves this year, so I'm not even sure where the Magpies reserves are sitting on the ladder. But there we go. He could be a good addition. Mickey McGuan's son. There we go. I didn't even realise he had a son up there and playing already. So there we go. I tell you what, it's showing our age a little bit, isn't it? There we go. All right. But there we go, folks. 13-14 to 13-14, 92 apiece. It was a draw tonight here at the MCG. And I think the crowd was 90-odd thousand people. Wowee. I watched Brian Taylor play for Paran. Oh, there you go. Wow, I tell you what. You know what? I watched Collingwood play Box Hill when Nathan Buckley played for the reserves. Can you believe it? He played for the VFL. One of the games there. He was good. I don't really know that he's a real big people's person, Bucks. But there we go. That's all right. He does his job well, and he was a star, definitely a star player. But I don't think so. Nick Maxwell had a photo taken with him at Vic Park. Vic Park or Box Hill? Vic Park, I think it was. He was good, Nick Maxwell, the Collingwood captain, many years ago. But that's, my gosh, that's showing the age a little bit, isn't it? That's showing the age just a little bit. Holy Toledo, Batman. There we go. All right, folks. Hey, thanks everyone for dropping in, listening to the game with us tonight. I'll tell you what, it was a bit of a nail biter, up and down. But that's all I think we've got to cut for this coverage. I'm not sure whether I'll cover any games tomorrow. I'm just not 100% sure yet. Western Bulldogs and Carlton could be about the only one I do. I'll just have to keep an eye on the score and see what's happening, whether I'm home to do it or I'll have a little bit of a break until next week. If you do want to follow the NRL, I will probably have a game or two of the NRL just playing. Won't be me on there. I'll just have that on there so you can listen to, if you want to listen to the NRL tomorrow. I know everyone loves the AFL, but tomorrow for the NRL, the Knights will take on the Titans, and of course the West Tigers will take on the Dragons. Melbourne Storm, they have a bye this week. So there we go. All right, folks. Hey, that's all I got for this one. Thanks all for coming in and listening to this. I tell you what, we did have some good football. And just before I go, if you were wondering who has won this round so far, well, let me tell you. Friday night, the Dockers, 112, defeated the Adelaide Crows 88 by 24 points. St Kilda, 49-point winners over Richmond. The Cats got the job done when we thought North Melbourne might topple them over. They got the job done, 125-110 by 15 points. The Brisbane Lions, tell you what, they're coming good, as always, late in the season. They were 42-point winners over the Gold Coast Suns, 95-53. And, of course, Melbourne, full-time, 132, defeating Port Adelaide, 56. Melbourne victorious by 76 points. And, of course, tonight's game ended in a draw, 92 points, 13, 14, 92 apiece. Another great game to watch. As I said, when the umpires didn't interfere, it was a great game to watch and listen to. It was exciting. But there we go. We're pretty happy with the draw. All right, folks. Hey, thanks for tuning on in. As I said, always appreciate it. I did, I forgot to check out the poll. We did have a poll. Of course, 61% did say Collingwood win. 39% said Hawthorn and the umpires would win. But there we go. Ended up in a draw. So there we go. All right, folks. That's all I've got for this one. I will, before I end, I'll just let you listen to the last bit of McRae's press conference, and then I'll end it. Cheers, all.
Game, yeah, we dominated territory in those phases and the scoreboard at those times, and particularly before half time. We're playing a top four team, or a team that wants to be a top four team, and so they're always going to have threats and strengths. And Sam's a great coach and tries different avenues and flips magnets around and tries all sorts of things. But we stay true to what we want to, who we want to be, and that third quarter, credit to them, they got their game going. But it was I was probably a bit over the top with the crowd, but I don't want to sit and not celebrate that like what we just did. Of course we want 2 more points and we'd love to do that, but here we are, and celebrating the small wins that we got tonight, and probably more than that.
Without wanting to sound like an England cricketer, was that kind of like a moral victory for you, given the experience that had to come back to the what were we? Well, underdogs to win the game, when we like that. That's reality of the two teams coming into the game with a lot of injuries out, a lot of experience out, late withdrawals and all that sort of stuff. But it's the same going over to Perth last week. We turn up and we believe in that our processes are good, that we train at elite standards, and our young talent is just starting to shine. And amongst our other talents in the team, that makes us, a huge difference to us. So I thought Dan McStay had
huge moments tonight when needed, and everybody had their turn. So, again, I'm maybe a little bit too emotional towards the celebrating, but that's the way my eyes are looking at it right now.
Ron Steele was one of those guys that thought he could have had his chances to really be the hero tonight. How do you see he's going?
Yeah. No, what did he kick 3? Did he?
2 and a few points as well.
Yeah. Well, I certainly had that one late to level the scores up, didn't he? Clutch moment. He had a couple of chances. Again, he's been playing VFL for 6 weeks. Couldn't get in the team, and comes in and looks ready to play his role, and he's important to us.
You said a couple of months back about the VFL team. You said a few of the players, it's time for them to get going.
Yeah.
What's left to do?
Well, I think there's a spirit in the whole squad right now. There is. There's an energy from what's 7.5 wins in the last 9 games or something like that. So that winning creates an energy. You could write a book on that, because I get to training on a Monday and they're just doing like a fundamental drills and get moving type, and then all the guys that are injured are just training that hard in front of the others because they want to be part of it, and then everyone else is just like training at a level that we were in Perth played Sunday night, and there's a lot of people on the red eye. We've had three interstate games in the last period, and we just get back to work quick, and maybe that helps with the youth because they can bounce quickly, but don't take that for granted. And Matty Loken's done a great job with Murph and Chloe and the other guys down at VFL level, and because we were heading nowhere, we had no wins, and they finished really strong. Their last game was today, so that's their season done. But they played with great spirit too, which is important for us to have players ready to play when they get their chance, and all those guys have.
They looked pretty much down and out in that last quarter when I think they kicked 8 of 9 goals. It looked like the game was just going to go. But then for you guys to just sort of, you just kind of touched on it already, but for you guys to just sort of just come out of nowhere, almost kick 4 and blink an eye, is that something that you're probably most proud of?
Because the players don't give up. And maybe that's starting to reverberate across the competition. You got to beat us. And very, very good team, Hawthorn. Great respect. Had so many ways to get us tonight. Stoppage and ball movement and the way they defend and experience in their defence, and versus some of our youth. And Impy's a great player, star of a player. Geez, he's a headache for coaches. And then you get Will Day, and then you got Newcomb in the last quarter, and then Ward kicking a couple of goals. There's so many threats, but we just we're going to stay connected. We're going to stay present and let some stuff go and come back to the next moment, because we just lost a couple. Lost a couple of goals. Well, hey, come on, come back to be present and let's go again. And these guys are living in the moment right now, and we'll keep rewarding that behaviour because that's the team we want to be. Yeah.
Craig, you really hunted the Hawks tonight, but it was more to do with your theme going into the game, kick, and eliminate the Hawks' ability to at contest.
Yeah. Oh, look, you have a plan, and trying to take away their strengths, and their ball movement's elite, and so we want to be aggressive. We learned some really good lessons against the Cats here a couple of weeks ago. We weren't aggressive enough in defence and offence, and that was an intent to do that. And against the Cats, we were in the second and third quarter, so we had an intent to come here and deliver on that. Again, we're all wise in hindsight, but there's an energy in what we're doing that it's going to be enough. Even with a lot of youth in our team. So, I'm going to have to go back and watch it again. There's a lot of little layers to it that we can improve.
How much damage do you think you can do in the finals and the wild card round? It seems like you're peaking at the right time.
Well, we've got a lot of belief, and I've said this many times. Once you get to the pointy end, it's just knockout, and it's match play. There's a lot of work to do. We'll get a lot of players back next week. I assume we will. They've had 4 or 5 really close to the line this week, and it's going to be hard to think who goes out of the team. Like, how do you leave some? Hayes out, and Harvey Harrison went out. It was like I said to him, I don't know. It's hard to leave you out. You've just been doing your role really well, and tonight you just played with intent. So again, that pushes pressure on others. And look, I can't forecast the future, but we'll just be present to what is, and we've got a big game against Brisbane next week, and then we'll deal with that and then see where we land. And take everything we've got. Yeah, we'll give it everything we've got.
Does the fact that you're almost certainly going to be locked into the wild card section, does that sort of does that change the way you approach the next, in terms of training and management in the next 7 days or so?
Potentially. We've got a lot of players coming back. I say that, but they still got to get through the week. We've got another 6-day break, so we're travelling a couple of 6-day breaks, which might suggest that some might need to be managed. I was pretty deliberate with Jared Way that we'll manage them if they need to be managed, not just for the sake of it. And if they're really sore and they can't perform, well, that they won't play next week. But right now there's an energy that everyone wants to play. So that'll be interesting how that plays out. But every GPS tells a different story, a cumulative load and things like that. So we take all that into consideration. And we'll weigh all that up at the appropriate time at match committee next week to make those decisions. I did notice some blood, so I don't know how much, but I can't answer that other than probably. He'd come off. He's growing down, hasn't he? Like, just to come on and give us a couple of moments, critical moments, clutch, nail the goals. 21 points down, and he has the impact. So he's been really, really important for us.
The guys likely to come back next week, Jeremy, Braden.
Lipinski, he made some good progress this week. Was more likely than not. Howie's a good healer, and he'll be close, and Brazil will be close too. Harry Perryman might be close, I'm not sure. I will have to wait and see how that progresses, but we've got a few experienced guys back. We'll have to find the right balance of that.
And Steele just came down sick today or something.
I got a message about 10 o'clock, and then late withdrawal on match day caused a bit of chaos because the VFL played, and I said in the pre-game interview that he's had his farewell speech and shook hands with 200 people. He's got to wash his hands. Like, there's lots going around at the moment. There's lots going around, isn't there? Like, middle of the Melbourne winter. Lots of sick kids around, giving it to the parents. Hopefully it'll be right for next week.
What's your immediate feel on how you've managed the last 9 seconds?
Yeah. Well, we're coming to win, weren't we? We had, Bo's kick looked from all angles that was going to either be a score, a point or a goal, and it gets marked on the goal line. And then we learned some good lessons a couple of years ago against the Cats in a qualifying final that we scores were level and we still didn't quite have the right structure at the ball and behind the ball and in front of the ball. And so we'll reflect on all that. Swaddling gets it back to Ed Allen, and Ed kicks it to a contest, and they've got some numbers behind the ball and gives them a chance to win the game. So then he goes and saves one on the goal line to keep it a tie. So we won't stand still. There's no patting on the back to think we're finished. We're far from finished. We've got lots of growth in us. As you've seen over the last 10 weeks or so, whatever it is, we've grown a lot, and there's more in front of us.
In that third quarter, it seemed like you were very disorganised defensively. Is that maybe because you guys put so much effort into the pressure in the first half? Was that maybe a byproduct of it, or was there something else possibly there?
Oh, look, I have to look at it exactly that, but we have you seen the back line and how many games experience we had there? I think Noah Howe's in his second game, and he showed some really good signs tonight. And young punches, fighting like he should and does, and he's going to be a player for us. And then Sam Swaddling goes back there, and so there's a lack of a chemistry, if you want for a better term. I haven't played the system for a while, but again, they're a good team. They come in like they reset and go, hang on, we're not winning this part of the game. Let's go at them, and they move the ball pretty slick in that period and challenge any team when they play like that. Thank you, guys.